chairman also achieve new milestone, break all the records of the previous, the agenda of the chairman of the any chairman of the Bangalore branch serving the students and members. It has to come true in its true sense, because last 1 year, because of the pandemic coronavirus, we are not able to conduct any physical program, yet achieved serving our members and students through virtual. And we also recognized service of our Bangalore branch team all over India. We used to call biggest branch of India, and we recognized for our services, and we got the best branch award in India itself. It was really a remarkable milestone of the year 2021. The saga of that success and journey should also continue with our new chairman, CA BT Shetty sir. With this, without much ado, we would like to start our program. May I request our chairman, CA BT Shetty sir, to escort our past president, CA K Raghu sir, and Gururaj Acharya sir onto the dais, and welcome with bouquet. I request our secretary and past chairman to escort CA Ravindra Eskore, outgoing chairman, onto the dais. Thank you, sir. And one more special guest, leader of Central Council from Southern Region, Dayaneva Sharma, sir, yet to join. I will welcome him also, and our SIRC member, Geeta Madam also. Now, it's a time to hear our outgoing chairman. Before that, to inaugurate this, we seek God's blessings by invocation song by Sandeep. May I request Sandeep to sing an invocation song? I request SRC member Geeta Madam to escort our special guest Dayaneva Sharma to onto the dais and welcome with bouquet. Thank you, madam. I request Sandeep to sing an invocation.
वातापि गणपतिं भजे हम वातापि गणपतिं भजे हम वारणास्यं वरप्रदं वरप्रदं श्री वातापि गणपतिं भजे हम भूतादि संसेवित चरणं भूतादि संसेवित चरणं भूतभौतिका प्रपञ्चभरणं भूतादि संसेवित चरणं भूतभौतिका प्रपञ्चभरणं वीतरागिनं विनुतयोगिनम् वीतरागिनं विनुतयोगिनं विश्वकारणं विघ्नवारणं वातापि गणपतिं भजे वारणा श्री वातापि गणपतिं भजे Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep. It's now time to hear from our outgoing chairman, CA Ravindra S. Kore. May I request Ravindra S. Kore to render a welcome address.
ಮಾಡುವಂತಿರಬೇಕು, ಮಾಡದಂತಿರಬೇಕು, ಮಾಡುವ ಮಾಟದೊಳಗೆ ತಾನಿಲ್ಲದಂತಿರಬೇಕು, ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವರ ನೆನವುತ್ತಾ ನೆನೆಯದಂತಿರಬೇಕು. Very good evening, respected members. Today, Ratha Saptami, a very auspicious day. The sun will change the direction. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಉತ್ತರಾಯಣಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಖ ಮಾಡಿ ತನ್ನ ರಥದ ಪಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುವಂಥ ದಿನ. ಈ ಆಸ್ಪಿಯಸ್ ದಿನ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಶುಭ ಗಳಿಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಶಾಖೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸ ಪರ್ವ ಆರಂಭವಾಗಲಿದೆ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳು, today's program, the chief guest and our role model from Bangalore and none other than our beloved past president C.A.K. Raghu with us. On behalf of all of you, I wholeheartedly welcome C.A.K. Raghu sir. We have with us our Central Council member, all the way traveled from Hyderabad, the witnessing the today's program, and it is an again unique day for the taking over for the new chairman is witnessing. On behalf of all the viewers, I wholeheartedly welcome C.A. Dayanivas Sharma sir for the today's session. It's always an unique opportunity to start the programs. When I took as a chairman on 17/2/2020, the first speaker was Gururaj Acharya sir, and again I got an opportunity. My ending ಮುನ್ನಡಿ ಮತ್ತು ಹಿನ್ನಡಿ ಬುಕ್ಕಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆದವರು ಬರೀತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬುಕ್ಕಿಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಯಶಸ್ವಿ ಬುಕ್ಕಿಗೆ ಬರೆದವರು ಗುರುರಾಜ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಸರ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆನ್ ಬಿಹಾಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ವಿವರ್ಸ್, ಐ wholeheartedly welcome ಗುರುರಾಜ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಸರ್. Our own Madam Geeta Madam is present. On behalf of all the viewers, I wholeheartedly welcome Madam Geeta for the today's program. We have with us Think Differently, Act Perfectly, our beloved past chairman of SRC, C.A. Kota S. Srinivas sir with us. I wholeheartedly welcome and I request Shivaram Bhatt sir to present a flower bouquet to C.A. Kota S. Srinivas. Dear members, the every year will come and go. The year pandemic of 2020 came like because many of chartered accountants view cricket, IPL, so they loved cricket. So this all 2020 run away like 2020 IPL match in during this corona. So I got an luckiest person to present because the whole syllabus. Myself and Secretary Srinivas, I took in February after taking over the charge. We prepared till September. We went. He told, now stop it. We can think after September. So immediately March 12th, we issued that yes, all the programs of Bangalore, all over India, it has to be stopped. So 4 days, I'm thinking what to do. The expectation of the members was entirely different. Immediately the session was planned for the members physically, that is how to office CA's office remotely. The topic was fixed earlier in physical forum. Immediately I converted into virtual. That was the first program all over India in ICAI among us all the branches on 18th March 2020. Well before announcing the lockdown, the Bangalore branch started its virtual program. So thanks to my managing committee members, the reason is very simple. That was the day we took immediate decisions. We started program. So before that, I would like to introduce the new office bearers has got elected today. As I say, Ratha Saptami. All 7 number is very very important. ಇವತ್ತು ಸಪ್ತ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಪ್ತ ಎಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So today you elected 52nd chairman. If you 5 plus 2, you can make it again, it will come 7. So is very well wisher for me. Throughout the last 2010, we were aware, we were each one of us, and when we are doing in our LLB also, sir is so much senior, but in LLB sir is 1 year junior than me. So today we have got elected in the morning 12:30 afternoon. So I wholeheartedly welcome the new chairman CA BT Shetty sir for the August gathering. I used to say, because many of my friends, coastal and Malenadu, Are Malenadu, ಘಟ್ಟದ ಮೇಲೆ ಘಟ್ಟದ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಶಿವರಾಮ್ ಭಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ನನಗಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಆದವರು ಶಿವರಾಮ್ ಭಟ್ರು ಮತ್ತು ಶೆಟ್ರು ಮಧ್ಯೆ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ಥರ ಬಿಟ್ಟರು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಅನ್ ಅಪಾರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಟು ಲರ್ನ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಶಿವರಾಮ್ ಭಟ್, and yes, we have done it the year, and now I'm happily handing over the more than me. He is a very strong personality and visionary. Definitely the Bangalore branch will have an continue to, my dream is that yes, we got an best branch award for the year 2020. At least if you continually perform 5 years, then I can satisfy, yes, my all the team members, all best team, yes, they all perform, then only I can satisfy. Definitely CABT Shetty sir will achieve that goal. We are ready to support me and Shivram, but always as a past chairman. Yes, members, the vice chairman, the who was the secretary for the term 2021, and is elevated. One of my good friend CA Srinivas T is elected as a vice chairman. I wholeheartedly welcome CA Srinivas. The year 17-18 used to say first lady chairman, chairperson. Now we have got Bangalore branch and got an opportunity to have second personality to achieve that in coming days. Before that, they have to perform at least 2 years secretary, vice chairman and all. And I got an opportunity, for first lady chairperson, I worked as a treasurer. For me, 2021, the Madam Divya has got an opportunity to serve as a treasurer, which is a coincidence. So CA Divya is now elected as the secretary for the Bangalore branch year 21-22. I wholeheartedly welcome. The Bangalore branch has a rich convention to follow the convention. We are not only election is announced in only agenda. We will not do any election in our committee. The elevation, Sikasa chairman to treasurer, treasurer to secretary, because everyone has to, before achieving the chairmanship, he must know all the path. So CA Panindra Gupta is elected as the treasurer of Bangalore branch. I wholeheartedly welcome Panindra Gupta. The very rare case the people will get the chance, because when for the term we elected 2019-20 and 19-22 3 years terms, we are 10 members in the committee. 7 was elected and 3 ex officios. Dashavatara was the one committee member before handing over Shivram, but was one madam was resigned. So we came to 9. And after that, professional addresses got changed from the SRC member C.A. Pannaraj. Now came to only 8 members. That was, we have an 8 branches, and that was conducted Ashtavarana recently conference. Today we are our chairman CABT Shetty has nominated and gotten CA Shivram Bhatt as the Sikasa chairman for the Bangalore branch. He got an double dhamaka. So again, his second time representing as the Sikasa chairman. Members, with that note, I wholeheartedly welcome you for the today's program, handing over program. We are coming to just, I will take not 2-3 minutes. When I took as a chairmanship, as pandemic came, you start taking over all the programs continuously, Jnana Dasova, without any borders. All over world speakers have participated, all over world the members have participated. We are able to serve, we are able to conduct 123 programs. Out of that, 111 virtual CP meetings we have conducted Bangalore branch. Out of that, almost 104 programs without any charges was conducted only because it is an to inconvenience for the members cause. I must thank each managing committee members stand with me in difficult time to achieve that success. For that, directly members have contributed 59,165 members gotten direct CP credits without any hassles, and indirectly members viewed the in YouTube. One of the major area, the career counseling was recognized by ICAI. 16,769 students we have career counsel done in across the India, only branch done this. That was very well appreciated by our beloved president. Members, some unique programs we tried, 7 days radio program for the students, and we have opened the members lounge and new ITT lab for the members. And in CSR activities also, we are able to connect 15 lakh rupees in this difficult time. Also, members have contributed is well received. On CA day, even though COVID, I troubled our past president CA K. Raghu sir and BP Rao sir to address Chandana TV. So that was a brand image. Even though COVID, the members have taken interest, and yes, sports activities and all. And Ashtavarana program was a grand success. That's all brief I have given in yesterday mail also I sent. Only thing I would like to thank each one of you and the speakers across the country who have joined our Jnanadaso program, and faculty members and staff of Bangalore branch. Even though COVID lockdown time, they run with me and IT team and our MDP. All the people have worked, and finally, you members, without your participation, there will be nothing success. I wholeheartedly thank. With happy note, I am signing up as the 51st chairman of Bangalore branch. Once again, I wholeheartedly thank each one of you and thanking all the managing committee, and my best wishes to the new chairman GABT Shetty, and my unstinted support will be there with all. Now I can easily support free hand with free mind. Thank you one and all.
It was a really tough time for him to outgo because the way he planned initially, as he said, we planned up to September. I said, you want me to go to office or not? Please reduce your programs. I can't participate so much. He planned like that. He's like a workaholic. As our one of the senior member told, that's why I didn't give any introduction. No introduction is required for Ravindra S. Kore. He's like a karma yogi. Generally, what happens whenever situation like Corona, generally no yaar, Corona, we can't do any physical program. Okay, take a break, we'll relax, chill out. But even in that difficult time, he never gave up. He did something again, he took it as a challenge, and it's like a CA exams, you get a one difficult questions, no? Either we'll give an example for that failure, your tough paper, that's why I didn't clear. Other person said they'll take it as challenge and will clear. That is the way he did, achieved his target, and he got the best branch award. Give him a big round of applause. We may forget some incident or some person. We can never forget a person with a service mind and served our member and students. Really, he has done a human service. Thank you, Chairman, outgoing Chairman Ravindra Eskore. Now I request the new Secretary Divya to give an introduction of our chief guest and special guest. Over to you.
Very good afternoon to all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but an habit. I'm very privileged to stand before all of you as Secretary of Bangalore branch of SARC of ICA. Quoting above what I believe, I've taken over as Secretary of Bangalore branch from today and very honored and privileged to take up this position, being second woman in the history of Bangalore branch after Geeta Madam. I know this year is more responsibility and more expectations. I request all of your each support to serve my best to this position. Without taking much time, I would like to introduce our chief guest of today's program, who was a past president of ICA, CA, K. Raghu. Qualified as chartered accountant in the year 1990 and elected as president of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India for the year 2014-15. Fellow member of ICAI with more than 24 years of professional standing, honorary member of Certified Public Accountants of Australia, senior partner of K. Raghu & Co., a leading firm of chartered accountants in Bangalore, specialized in taxation, audit, business investments and technology consulting services. He was elected as president of ICAI by the 22nd Central Council on 12 February 2014 for the year 2015. He was elected as vice president for the year 2013-14 and member of Central Council of ICF from 2007 for 3 consecutive terms. With this very brief introduction, I welcome you for today's program, sir. We have another special guest with us, CA Dayanivas Sharma, to briefly introduce. He was qualified in the year 2005, articled with PwC Hyderabad. Thereafter, he revived Lakshmi Nivas and Co-Chartered Accountants. He is Information System Auditor and Certified Forensic Auditor, having completed diploma and certification courses conducted by ICI respectively. He has been elected to Central Council of ICF for the period 2019 to 22. Currently, he has been nominated on the board of XPRL India, Vice Chairman of Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, Deputy Convener of India's Implementation Group of member of various committees, including Strategy, Perspective Planning and Monitoring Committee. With this brief introduction, I welcome you also for today's program, sir. Yet we have also with us another stalwart speaker of today's program, CAK Gururaj Acharya, to briefly introduce. Sir, qualified chartered accountant after completing articles under Guru Prasad & Co. Bellary. Is presently the senior partner of KG Acharya & Co. Chartered Accountants, Bangalore, specialized in corporate finance, corporate taxes and company law. He secured 21st All India rank in CA Inter, 10th rank in CA Final, 1st rank in ICWA Inter, 3rd rank in ICWA Final, also 1st rank in BCom, Gulbarga University. He is also member of Bangalore Financial Reporting Review Group, formulated under Financial Reporting Review Board of ICA New Delhi. He was also director on the board of directors of State Bank of Mysore. With this very brief introduction, I welcome you also for today's program, sir.
Thank you, Divya, giving a brief introduction, dignitaries on the dais. We got the blessings of our seniors. Now we'll start this program by lighting the lamp. I request dignitaries on the dais, please join for lighting the lamp. I request our past SRC chairman and Shivram Bhatt sir to join for.
यैष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति यैष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 निर्विमानः निर्विमानः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रं तदेवामृतमुच्यते अस्मिन् लोकः सर्वे कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, the much awaited thing is that we have to hear from our incoming chairman, CA BT Shetty, and his agenda for the year. Oh, new elected chairman and his agenda is target for the year. I request BT Shetty sir to address our gathering.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. I feel honored, privileged and humbled to take over as the chairman of 52nd chairman of Bengaluru branch of SARC of ICI for the term 2021-22. This branch is the largest branch in India, a mega category. We won #1 award in this year. Friends, I am aware that I am shouldering a huge responsibility, and I assure you all that I will try to meet your expectations. I know that the expectation is huge on the branch chairman. I assure you all that it is in safe hand. Your branch is in safe hand. With the support of my managing committee, I will try to meet your expectations. Friends, my predecessor, immediate predecessor, Sri Ravindra Kore, did an excellent job even during pandemic. I know him since last 2010. He's an able administrator, a quick thinker. He did wonderful job even during pandemic. Even otherwise, he deserved to win #1 award because he knows how to handle the things, whether pandemic or not. A person who committed to deliver will always deliver. That is how Mr. Kore did a wonderful job for the Bangalore branch. On behalf of members of Bangalore branch, let us congratulate him once again for the job well done. Thank you, Mr. Kore. On this occasion, let us felicitate him for his wonderful job done. I request dignitaries on the dais to join us to do the felicitation to Mr. Kore. Friends, before moving further, I fail in duty if I not mention about a few words of our today's chief guest, CAK Raghu. Friends, one has to learn humbleness from Mr. Raghu. Last month, when we fixed the date of 19th is the takeover, immediately I called Mr. K. Raghu and sought an appointment. He said immediately come anytime. I went there. Normally I carry a diary or a notebook when I meet dignitaries. Unfortunately, on that day I forgotten a book. I went empty hand there. He welcomed me, offered a coffee. As if my elder brother, he treated me. And he asked me what about my action plan, what are you planning to do in the coming year? I told everything. Then he noted all those things in sheets of papers, one by one. Then he added some of the good points, which I never forget. Finally, he handed over me all those papers. Normally, I cannot imagine because he served for this institute last 27 years of his prime time. I think he qualified in 1990, joined branch in 94. Yeah. So from prime time of any professional, that 27 years he sacrificed for this institute in all the capacity from Bangalore branch, SIRC and Central Council. That bonding, ಅಭಿಮಾನ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಅಭಿಮಾನ. He was a past chairman of Bangalore branch. I think ಅದರಿಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. Similarly, today not many, I think a good number of past chairmen came due to their commitment. Probably they are not stayed back here, and some of them are viewing online. See, I called almost all. I think I missed one or two because of couldn't reach them. Called almost all and invited for this program. This is really a touching moment. They have that kind of affection about this branch. That is the biggest strength of any chairman of this branch. I felt that. I really touched your kindness to me on that day, and even after that also, even before also, I felt that. But it was really a touching moment, sir. I really like that. Then, as an icing on cake, yesterday I called our Central Council member, Dayaneva Sharma. He said he's going to be here in Bangalore on some other job. Then I immediately requested him to come and attend this occasion, witness this transition. He readily agreed. It is our fortune. I really welcome you. Plus our past SARC chairman, Srinivas also is here. Thank you very much, Kota Srinivasan. Plus our SARC member, current treasurer, Geeta madam, and all my committee members. We are united to excel. I'm sure there are two past chairmen, Yeshuram Bhatt and Mr. Kore, but I don't think they will act anything like past. They will work with me. They will shoulder all the responsibility along with me to deliver whatever I'm planning. With their help, I will assure you, I will deliver. Coming to my action plan for the year 21-22, okay, friends, it is quite simple. This is my managing committee. It's very vibrant managing committee. As I already mentioned, they will do whatever required to be done to excel in the branch. I'm pretty sure. This is the team above us. I seek their support, wholehearted support and guidance to deliver my action plan. I'm pretty sure one of our Central Council members is already here. He is witnessing, and our SARC members are here. Morning, Pampana was here. I think Panaraj sir also going to join later in the evening. So I'm pretty sure I spoke to all of them. They are happily and wholeheartedly supporting this branch. Friends, my action plan for the year 21-22 is pretty simple. There are 4 avenues: members empowerment, new avenues in practice, image building initiatives, student services. Friends, last year it was Jnana Dasoha because it was a pandemic period. It was a Dasoha. This year it is Jnanarjane, means acquiring knowledge. It's no more a Dasoha. We chartered accountants not born to plead or request. We are born to command. We are capable to deliver or achieve whatever we want. It is a time to empower ourselves to deliver. Things are changing very fast. In the last budget, we heard GST audit may not be there. It's okay. What's the big deal? In future, down the line, small companies audit may also go. That is what is in advanced countries like USA, Singapore, or many other countries. Small companies need not have a statutory audit. If you want to become a developed country or want to become 5 trillion, 10 trillion economy, I think we need to move that place. But there is no dearth of work for chartered accountants in those countries. Then why we are worrying? Chartered accountants are capable to do whatever they want. Our training, the self-learning is imbibed in our blood. We are capable to. We learned self only during our exams. Nowadays, I think tuition is taking a little more. When I studied, I never took any tuition. Same way, even today's children or students, CS students are capable to self-learn and qualify and do whatever they want. Same thing we have seen. Chartered accountant converted, become an advocate, are doing extremely well. There are many chartered accountants who are becoming resolution professionals, doing extremely well. There are chartered accountants who have taken up RERA consultation, doing extremely well. And many other IT professionals. Good number of chartered accountants doing IT audits, IT security services. Number of CS are working in the IT sector. Those things are not in our examination. We have not studied much in that. In fact, I was doing, there was no sale tax. I qualified in 1992. Immediately after that, I went to Gulf. I worked there 5 years. I left. I was away from all this taxation. Even income tax was there. Even 5 years I was not in India. In 98, I came back. I started general practice, sale tax, central excise, all these things. Well, I never studied that. It means when I can do, all the CS can do whatever area they want to. So when economy is growing, becoming 5 trillion or 10 trillion, there will not be any dearth of work for a chartered accountant. But only important thing is we need to empower ourselves. Branch, as a Bangalore branch, can be a catalyst in that direction. That is what I am planning to empower our members in the areas of new avenues in practice. I have listed a few. There are many more. Then image building initiative, also one of that. The bad things about CAs are spreading wildfire kind of a thing. You can see in any newspaper, in any internet, social media, small things, they make it big and tell about CA. Whereas I think we are little shy to tell the newsmaker about the good things we are doing. I think my initiative in this year to tell regularly about good things, whatever we are going to do. It is just not a making news. With actually we are delivering something, then we have to make the news. We have 164 branches across India. Definitely our central council members also thinking in that direction. They will make that regular news about chartered accountants in a good page. That is the one of the initiative I'm planning to take in this year in the Bank from Bangalore branch. Then next is most important, student services. This is an important area. They are the future of our institute. Their commitment to become a chartered accountant moves the institute ahead. I have some plans for students too. Member empowerment in these areas, workshop on new avenues. I'm planning to conduct as many as workshops, not many seminars as such, because in the workshop we are really train them to take up that new avenues. And then even for, I want to include our industry members. There are a good number of people are working in industry, and future it will be much more, because when the economy is growing, the demand for chartered accountants will definitely grow. We will do that. Then one more area, I think the auditing, the workshop on auditing will change. It is going to be a specialized service. I believe in future, it is not a general, every practicing chartered accountant can do audit. Audit is a specialized subject in future. It is already, but it will be much more. One needs to passion for do the audit. We will train in that area. Again, a workshop kind of a thing. And use of technology is the need of the hour. In that regard, also we are planning a good number of workshops from very basic. All this workshop I am talking about now, I have not high funda, from the very basic, so that then they have to learn on their own to become a practitioner. We initiate, then they have to take it forward. So in each category, 100 chartered accountants can move in that direction, so that there will not be any dearth of work. The new avenues I have just noted around 18 here, not 18, 16. Another 16 one can count. Even other day I heard CSR is a big opportunity for chartered accountants. People are crying when government changes or amends. People are crying that, why should we cry? Let the industry people cry for that. It is an opportunity for us. Let us learn that and help the industry to comply. Government is planning with some ideas. They also have why they introduced. There is a reason. Every reason they cannot come and tell each one of us. There is a reason to introduce some of the things. As a professional, these are all my belief. As a professionals, we need to learn, equip ourselves and help the industry. It's an opportunity for us. So coming to the few avenues, I am not able to explain all of this because of time constraint. I'll just touch one or two. Virtual CFO service, currently few chartered accountants are doing. It can increase in numbers, because just for example, in Pinda industry estate, there are 1,000+ industries not having any CFO full time. If the economy grows to 5 trillion to become 10 trillion, each currently whoever is doing 2-3 crores will become 10 crores business. They need a support. We chartered accountants are financial wizards. We can learn and help them and hold them, and we can earn our fees. We can save. In future, there will not be any mandatory things. Seal horde, sign toko hakide, fees bantu. I don't think it will remain. We have to add value and earn our fees. That is going to be the future. Whether you accept it or not, that is going to happen. Friends, next important thing I believe is family and business succession plan. It's a very big business in advanced countries. In India, it may be there in Gujarat and Mumbai, not much in Bangalore as such. I have not heard any specialized person who can help. It is a big business for attorneys in USA, but in India, attorneys also not specialized in this. So we chartered accountants capable to do this, and we take a step towards that. We Bangalore branch can be a catalyst for that. We can tell, we can conduct programs, we can conduct workshops, we can help. Similarly, all other areas, we are planning to conduct programs in that. So I'll skip all these things. Then coming to image building initiatives, I am planning skill development for government BCom student, finally a government college, final year BCom students. In fact, last year, Mr. Corey initiated this. He couldn't continue that initiative due to pandemic. I'll take that forward. And it's a good image building activity as a CSR activity of ICAI. And TV and radio show that also last year Mr. Corey did. We will continue that. It can be a good image building. And mentorship platform for networking, awards for professional excellence. These are all for our members. In fact, how you may ask how it is image building, because first of all, we need to respect our institute. If we are not respecting ourselves, no one will respect us. That we need to imbibe in us. For that reason, I am including all these things so that at least new members coming in will show the interest to become member of the institute. We will help, we will handhold them, we will encourage them to come to the branch, come to the institute and take part in the institute activities. That is the one of the thinking I am doing as image building. It may not be directly for the public, it is for our members, but still it is image building, I believe. Friends, there are other things also which due to shortage of time, I'm not explaining. If anyone interested, I can have the conversation on that. Then finally, the student services is again an important area. There is a shortage of reading room facility for students in Bangalore. We have huge number of students. Many are coming from financially poor background. They are finding it, they are staying in a small rooms here with 2-3 students are living in a small room. They find it difficult. They regularly call us. For this, I request our Central Council member and SARC members to help us to set up at least 2 new facilities in Bangalore, one towards west and one towards, 4-5 is required. At least we will do it 2-3 this year. Last year, even before our Budsar time itself, we planned, but we couldn't implement. This year, we are very serious. I already delegated it to Mr. Kore. He is the person to identify and make it happen. He agreed that. Then industrial training opportunities also we need to increase for our students, because future is going to be industry and employment. Let us do that also in good number, and we'll try with the help of our faculties. Our members are very good. In fact, I called them similarly like what experience I had with our past chairman, same kind of experience I had with all our faculties. They are very much encouraging and helping to the branch. Whatever you say, you call me, you give me a call. That kind of initiative. If they see the number of Bangalore, see, I called 2 years ago. No one normally, they are all busy people. They not take the fall. They came to know that I am going to be the chairman. They immediately taking call. That is the special. I don't know. This is the strength of the Bangalore branch. I really happy that with their support I can do wonders, I believe. So I'll do in all these areas. Will add value and improve the qualities of our coaching class, orientation or GMCS or ITT. In these areas, I'll definitely improve the quality in the branch. That is my assurance to my students. With that, I solicit your kind suggestions. Look forward your wholehearted support. Members, Tell me, give me your suggestions. Tell what you are looking for. Maybe sometimes I may be wrong, but suggest me what exactly you are looking for. With my able managing committee, I assure you that I'll deliver whatever your expectations. That is my commitment. Thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman, for giving overview on your action plan for the year under your chairmanship. With SMAC's tremendous amount of growth for Bangalore branch, we are very confident about it. Thank you once again. I now request Mr. Sandeep to come on dais for accepting a special gift of voucher from our chief guest. I request Raghu sir to kindly give bouquet to Mr. Sandeep. Big round of applause, members. Thank you, sir. Now it's time to hear to our special guest of today, CA Dayaniva Sharma, sir. I request you to kindly address the gathering, sir.
Thank you, Divya. Respected newly elected chairman of the largest branch of the country, Bangalore branch, Shetty sir, congratulations to you. Actually, you have opened my eyes by setting one thing very clear, that how Bangalore got the first prize. The structured presentation which sir also was talking, and I was just feeling inside, but he spoke. So this is a senior advices and guidance which we get. So congratulations to you and the entire team. I'll just, for shortage of time and cutting it short, with you, your entire managing committee members, I wish a great success, and I hope and pray that this year also you get the best branch award. Congratulations to you all. Most important, I can only say elder brother, who has been a big guide to me in more than one ways. No other person than past president C.A. Raghu sir. Rather, I'll not say past president. Globally, it is called president always. It is never a past president. So President Raghu sir, thank you very much for sharing a dais with me. I'm privileged to be in Bangalore and sharing a dais with you. It is real. My pleasure equally, sir. And rather, friends, I can tell you that, I am today called as a digital transformation person in the council with various things. But I think the digital transformation the initiator of digital transformation was no other person than Raghu sir. A big round of applause for him. I am really blessed, sir. I have seen your vision document and I was excited how far-sighted you were to actually think on the digital transformation of the institute. And though we are a little late, but yes, we have achieved, but your visions have actually been possible. And the other person is Gururaj Acharya, sir, who's been a teacher for me. Acharya means teacher. So he's a teacher for more, in many ways. I have been interacting with him for various things. Rather, whenever it is a matter of technical side, and if I have to, talk to some person, he's always been the first person with regards to a lot of, research material which we have worked on. So thank you very much. Don't mind, please continue. So it's we all encourage each other. The patting when it comes, you get more motivated to move forward and do as much as possible in a right manner. Continued with Geeta Madam, congratulations, you are doing a great job in the SIRC and continue doing it. And Ravindra Kore, I think you have done the best in the entire time of this year. Friends, I can tell you one thing. I called on the council table. You know the meaning of calling on a council table. I called the president, immediate past president Atul Gupta ji, as a transformation man. And I think every chairman of the region and every chairman of the branch, I think we have to give them a big round of applause, because it was a more responsibility on you to engage all the members in a larger manner. So Friends, I will take very little time. I'll not take much time, but I think, we all should be proud about our institute. When the toughest time of the world has come, you will be shocked to know that Institute of Chartered Accountants was the only institute in the world which clocked more than 1 crore minutes of learning for its members. Just imagine and convert into number of years. The kind of adoption which started with, again, a big round of applause to all the members, particularly who have adopted the transformation which started with the bank audit. I still remember, I think all of us know the kind of toughness which RBI and IBA has actually moved forward, and they said that this year the bank audit is not required, and that would have been the biggest loss for the entire profession. But the profession stood strong, and every member, whether it is the remotest place or the main cities of the country, they stood tall, and they proved that when they can teach businessmen how to do business by reading the laws and regulations, we can also take care of our profession in the true spirit. And every member, every student has adopted the best thing, which was a technology transformation. A big round of applause to you all people, along with the chairmen and the president as such. There have been a lot of initiatives which have been taken, and very rightly said by the chairman. Sir, I think you have touched upon member empowerment. There is a lot which we have done last year. Image building of ICI. There is again a lot of social media activity which was being done, though there was little negative side of it, but we don't bother. But there is a lot which has been done very positively. New avenues in practice. There is unlimited avenues, rather, I can say. If anyone follows the government, I think in the last 7 years, the opportunities which has been given to chartered accountants, globally, I think no other country has given that kind of opportunity. Let us take a quick example of the PLI schemes. How many of you have read PLI schemes? Has anyone actually participated? If I start talking about my fees numbers, you will really be shocked. And that opportunity, if we have missed a big thing. GST, tax audit is not the future. Bank audit is not the future. Many other things are not the future. But this kind of government initiatives which have come, which is going to distribute huge amount of money to the manufacturers, is going to be a big thing. If you have not seen PLI, 10 PLI schemes, 10 different industries, government had talked about giving money to the new startups and new businesses. If we have to really think about new areas which we need to focus on. It is very few people out of the entire hall. I don't think anyone has actually participated in the PLI scheme, where we talk about large firms. They are large because they are actually tapping that opportunity, and by the time we realize it is getting late. So with regards to the new avenues, might be sometime if chairman is going to invite me, I'll surely come and talk about multiple factors which are there for the profession. And then student services, I think hats off to those all students who have actually taken the risk and written their examination. This is the first time in the history, I think, we have divided the examination into 2 parts where the people had the option to opt out. But the best part was, Raghu sir, you will be always proud that 50% of the students have written the examination. And when the first May, during the May when the exams were being planned, we had only 600 centers, and the Supreme Court directed that you need to comply with the guidelines. And our immediate past president has ensured that from 600 centers, that number rose to 1200 centers within 1 month. And a battalion of 1000 institute employees were being put for ensuring that the exam conduct happens in a very right manner. So I think it is something which we need to do on the initiative side. And one more thing which I can share with you in this, you asked me to share some suggestions. In Hyderabad, sir, we have used this pandemic very effectively, and we have gone to the Board of Intermediate Education, which is the higher education. And you all will be happy to know that, we are the first state, rather I can say, which is went and changed the entire curriculum of the 11th and 12th standard of the government of Telangana. So this is something which we need to really look into, and this is going to be part of their entire syllabus. They are going to say that this knowledge sharing is being done by ICI. So this is a big privilege for all of us. I think this kind of initiatives, if it is going to go in a different manner. With regards to study center, which you talked about, reading room. Friends, I can tell you again, before you, Raghu sir, I came here today for the important agenda of our council, which is there. It is with regards to the new building which is coming up for the students. and that got actually backlogged because of the pandemic particularly, and then we realized certain facts were going wrong. So particularly I was here, and fortunately Shetty sir called me yesterday that can you come. I said I'm coming here for that particular purpose. If that is over, then I'll come. And today we interacted with couple of authorities, and they said they gave us certain suggestions and guidance with which again this project is going to restart in a very, very effective manner. And today is, I think, Ratha Saptami. It is now started. So hopefully in the center of city, you will have that, study center, which is going to come out very soon. That is a commitment which I am giving from my side as an individual. But I think you all will make it possible. And your vibrant team has always been a great support in the entire process. So now I think time has come. Ravindra sir, you have been following up with me, but because of this issues, we could not take it forward. Might be it is with the hands of his, but again, delegated back to you. So again, to come back to you only. There are many things which can continue talking about the institute. Rather, I can tell you one thing. When I qualified, I never knew the power of a chartered accountant. But after coming into the council, I realized we have such kind of power which we can't even imagine. If we open our arms, we open, it's like, our life is like a Hanuman. Only thing is someone has to wake up like Jamvant and say that, look, you have this power, you use this power like this, which I think is required now. It is right time that we all reevaluate, rethink of what we want to do, how we want to do. And lot of new opportunities are there. Youngsters, it is a big opportunity for you. The life is going to be totally different. Being the second largest accounting body in the world, it makes whole lot of difference. International presence, I think you should also add this thing, sir. We have now close to 45 international chapters, which is a huge number. And if we are able to take our young members or senior members for an industry tour rather than a holiday tour, it will make whole lot of difference. A different kind of eye opening will be there. I can continue talking, but I am here just as a short discussion. There's a long list which I can talk about. Might be sometime later I'll come. But yes, the power of this profession is, you can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. If we put all our energies together also, it is very small thinking we can do. But the power of this profession is on a total different tangent. We are there. We were relevant yesterday, years back, today, and we are going to be relevant tomorrow also. So let's make it. We have adopted the change, the easiest and the best possible manner. The time to come is going to be much different. Let us come, embrace the transforming time and make it big. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dayaniva Sharma, sir, for sharing some of the finest updates, which will definitely help all our members. I'm very sure about it. Thank you very much once again. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time for us to listen from our chief guest of the day, CAK Raghu, past President ICDS. Sir, I request you to kindly come forward.
Good evening to all the members present here. Let me first of all congratulate our newly elected chairman, CA BT Shetty, for having assumed chairmanship of one of the most happening branches in the country. I've traveled around the country, visited so many branches. Let me tell you, friends, our branch is an extremely active and vibrant branch, and I would like to compliment the entire team for the hard work they're putting in. And I'm sure Mr. BT Shetty, with the action plan, what he has presented to all of us as to how he wants to empower the members, how he wants to focus on student services, member services, I think we'll have an exciting year. And we wish you good luck, Mr. Shetty, and we are all there to support you. Mr. Dayanivas Sharma has offered his wholehearted support to you and your team. And we're very happy that Dayanivas has come all the way from Hyderabad to be with us today. A very dynamic council member is Mr. Dayanivas Sharma. The kind of activity, what we have seen in the institute last year, in spite of the pandemic, I think my compliments to you. Please convey my compliments to the Honorable President, the past President. Two important things that went to the credit of the last year was conducting examinations in 1,200 centers in just a span of 1 month. It's something fabulous. Number one. 2 batches were rolled together and all the students were able to write the examination in, with all the protocols in place. My compliments to you, Dayanivas, for entire council, president and vice president, for the good work that you have done. And number two is for the international networking, what they've done, the kind of chapters they've opened around the world. Today, you have a lot of international ICA chapters. So anyone wanting to go to any country can get connected to these chapters. These two initiatives are something which are very laudable. And I'm sure your continued support to the branch, the new facility that is coming up in Rajajinagar, we will have it inaugurated maybe during this year, maybe 12 months down the lane. And we thank you for the excellent support you are giving to the Bangalore branch. And friends, I would be failing in my duty because I was the chairman of the branch. Every office bearership of the branch is exciting. I've served in as the secretary, like how Divya is the secretary today. I've served as a secretary, vice chairman, and chairman. Let me tell you, every office bearership is a learning experience. You get an opportunity to meet the members, interact with them, get to understand the profession better. You get a 360-degree view of the profession. And I always tell my friends whenever I meet them, my exposure, what I got at the branch was something that you can, even now I treasure it. The kind of interaction we used to have with the members here, the kind of programs what we used to conduct, even those days. I'm very happy that Srinivas, Vice Chairman, we all seen how hardworking he is. Divya, Secretary, we wish them all the best, and Panindra. And I would be failing again if I don't congratulate Ravindra Kore, sitting here 24/7 in spite of the pandemic, getting connected to all the members, winning the best branch. I think a lot of accolades to you, Mr. Ravindra Kore, for the good work you have done. And we wish Geeta good luck. We are seeing her slowly, climbing up the ladder. We wish her good luck even in the regional council. I'm sure one day we would like to see her as the chairman of the regional council. And finally, our good friend Guraj Acharya. I remember when I was the chairman of the branch, Guraj Acharya used to extend total support on all the on the technical side. Every chairman requires some support. And here I see one gentleman. Guraj is a good friend of mine. We did CA together. We studied CA together, and he's always been supportive of the Bangalore branch. Whenever you call him, he's always available. Not only the Bangalore branch, at various national committees. When I was the vice president, he has worked in the national committees. He has put his best foot forward and helped him. My compliments to you, Guraj Acharya, for your contribution to the profession. Friends, I think today being the first day, yes, there will be some spillover of time. This session had to get over at 4:30 for high tea. Nevertheless, we had so many formalities. Maybe the next, what I decided was maybe I will, cut short my presentation. I had to speak for half an hour, but considering the fact that we're running behind schedule, I'll just try to make it a 15-minute presentation to just take you through the standard setting process, what exactly is happening at ICA. After having worked in the Accounting Standards Board, the Auditing Standards Board, having represented India on the International Federation of Accountants, where all the standards come to us for approval, I thought it's an opportunity for me to just give you a status as to what is happening on the accounting standards front. Friends, today what is happening is that the economies have opened up. A lot of cross-border transactions are taking place, and a lot of free flow of international capital. As a result of which, every country has to look at migrating to one standard, because earlier every country has its own standards. Like in India, we had the Indian GAAP, Pakistan had Pakistan GAAP. So there was a need for one set of reporting standards so that we could reduce the cost of compliance. Investors could understand the financial statements more effective. That was the reason why there was a need for global accounting standards. So that is when we saw IFRS. IFRS was something that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India decided that yes, we need to converge with IFRS. And because of the globalization of the capital markets, we saw investors investing in the Indian capital markets from around the world. Complexity of business operations, there was a need for one single set of accounting standards, so which were easily understandable. So the International Accounting Standards Board is the creator of the standards, the IFRS. All these standards, as you know, are principle based, drafted lucidly, and are very easy to understand. The only thing is that you have to learn these new standards. And I can tell you, friends, having seen these standards very closely in the council, each and every paragraph is read, and then we discuss and debate, and then we approve the whole process. I can only say that IFRS has brought about a transformation in way accounting standards are implemented in various jurisdictions around the country, around the world. And considering the fact IFRS has brought in a uniform reporting system, there's a need for financial statements. Any investor around the world should be able to read a financial statement of a company in India, because you might have an investor in Singapore, you might have an investor from London who would like to invest in a stock in India. He should be able to read the financial statements. That is when IFRS was considered to be very critical and important. So basically, it promotes transparency, accountability, and efficiency. And those days, I still remember companies like Infosys and Wipro voluntarily, prepared the financial statements under IFRS because they had investors around the world, and they also had a GDR issue, which made it mandatory for them to have their financial statements, under IFRS. So what is really happening is that we find that the entire IFRS implementation around the globe is rapidly progressing. Today, we have 166 countries or jurisdictions, you could say, who have implemented IFRS. That's a very big number. And I'm happy to say that India is a part of it. And what is it there for all of you here? All of us here on a Friday evening are listening to an eminent speaker like Mr. Gururaj Acharya, trying to understand the importance of these accounting standards. What is important for each one of us sitting in this hall is, what is it in for me? Friends, especially for the young chartered accountants sitting behind, I can say there's a great international opportunity. Plenty of opportunities for IFRS professionals from India. Daya would agree with me. Whenever we travel abroad, when we go to Doha, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, there's a lot of demand for chartered accountants, the knowledge of IFRS. Similarly, in Australia. So sky's the limit. If you have the knowledge of the financial reporting standards, you can just pick up your bags and look for a great career opportunity in any of these countries. And the institute can support you, and you can reach out to these chapters, and these chapters will help you to get placed with the local companies. Number two, valuation experts. As you know, under IFRS, assets and liabilities are to recognize at fair value. This creates a demand for valuation professionals, and I'm very happy that the institute has taken the lead to set up the valuation standards board, and the institute has sort of tried to launch the online certification courses on valuation, which will help you to get the required qualification for you to do valuation under the IFRS regime. This is another big opportunity for all the chartered accountants who want to settle down in India and who are not keen to go abroad, but yes, they want to be a part of the IFRS transformation. They could be valuation experts. Number three is that they could be IFRS specialists. Today, let us say a company in Bangalore wants to migrate to IFRS. They could have the services of Mr. Gururaj Acharya, who is an expert in IFRS. He could interpret all the complex issues and help them to transform. So each one of us sitting here can be appointed as a consultant for an IFRS switchover. So there's a huge opportunity today. The kind of opportunities what we see in for appointment of IFRS specialists in this company is very high. So coming to the Indian story, I think a very quick thing I would like to say, all of us have studied accounting standards. The process is more or less the same. We have, whenever the Institute of Chartered Accountants, the Accounting Standards Board decide that they need to have a study of a particular standard, preliminary draft is prepared, then it goes to the Accounting Standards Board that looks into all the issues. They look into the preliminary draft and issues of that, and then it's put up for public comment. And finally, after this, ASB considers comment received on the exposure draft and finalize the draft accounting standard for consideration of council. It comes to the council. After it is recommended by the council, it goes to NAFRA, and Government of India notifies the accounting standard. Now it's called Ind AS, and for non-company entities, the ICA issues the accounting. This is the current status. The entire standard setting process goes through a robust mechanism. Whenever any standard has to be formulated, a lot of experts are involved in this formulation of standards, goes through a very robust standard setting process, goes through public opinion, goes through the Accounting Standards Board, council, and then goes to the government for notification. This is the process, and now today the National Financial Reporting Authority is the authority that mandates the accounting standards in the country. So we decided to go for convergence. We had a debate for one full day in the institute whether we should go for convergence or whether we should adopt. Countries like Pakistan overnight said we are adopting IFRS. Countries like Nepal said we are adopting IFRS, but India said nothing doing, we're going for convergence, considering the fact that there's so many issues that is affecting in a country like India, so many challenges we have. We thought convergence is the best route, and the council in its wisdom decided that India will go for the convergence. And today, after extensive consultation with the MCA, Reserve Bank of India, IRDA, we decided that we will go for convergence. This is the timeline. I would not like to go through it. We began in 2015-16, and then if you see how exactly the IFRS rollout happened in India, we decided that it should voluntarily the companies should apply Ind AS in the preparation of financial statements. And slowly, if you come to 2021, other than insurance, banks, and insurance and banking companies, more or less all other entities are there. And I'm sure way forward, more and more entities would have to adopt Ind AS in the preparation of financial statements. So time is not very far. You're running out of time. You have not, what you can say, read the new standards. I think you should make a beginning. So these are the standards, more or less. I think by the time Dayanivas becomes the president, there'll be nil carve-outs. We're just having 9 carve-outs. People will ask, what is the difference between Ind AS and IFRS? There's just 9 differences. It was about 11 differences, 9, it's 9 differences. I'm sure when you become the president, will be completely IFRS and the Ind AS would be the same. But yes, these carve-outs are required. It was essential. We are trying to see how best we can reduce the carve-outs. And these are the initiatives what we have done for all of you. Educational materials are available that can be downloaded by all of you. Video lectures available in the digital platform. Then a lot of training, online certification courses, training programs that's being conducted, and webcasts and podcasts are a big success. All the education material have been well researched. You have the top experts in the country speaking on all these things. So my request to each one of you is you need to get started as early as possible. So what is the way forward? Friends, there's a need for accounting standard for the SMEs. That's being discussed for a long time, but even now it has not been finalized. But globally, yes, you'll have a set of accounting standards for SMEs. That's number one. And ASB will continue to work with the International Accounting Standards Board. Today, we have so many other forums like the AOSSG, Asia Oceanian Standard Setters Group, Emerging Economies Group, International Forum of Accounting Standard Setters, where we're working with them closely to see that we come out with high quality standards. Very quickly about auditing standards, I think I would not go into the objectives and functions of auditing standards, but one thing is important, that auditing standards are very, very critical, considering the fact the frauds are increasing, considering the fact regulators are losing the trust on the quality of attest functions being done by the members. I think you need to adhere to the quality standard, the auditing standards that has been brought out by the AASB. And I can only say, friends, I've seen these standards. I've gone through the standards. It has come to the IFAC also for approval. Most of the standards are very well researched, and you should start applying them in carrying out your, attest functions. A lot of activities of the AASB, they're trying to disseminate knowledge, conduct research, contribution to international platform, and interaction with the regulators. And these are the technical publications. We have guidance notes, clarifications given by the council. Then we have standards on auditing, standards on assurance engagements, on review engagements, and related services. These are the basic initiatives that are done by the AASB. So this is something a very important slide. I thought I'll just sum it up in one slide. You have SQC1, it's the master you can standard on quality control. Then you have engagement standards, which is again assurance based and other standards. And in assurance based standards, you have standards on auditing, assurance engagements, and review engagements. And on other standards, you have standards on related service. So if you're able to get a picture of these standards, I think very well you're in control of all the auditing standards. So basically, friends, what is very important is that whenever you apply, whenever you find that you have standards in audit, it's mandatory. Please keep in mind that all these standards now is a part of the curriculum. It is mandatory when you're carrying out your attest function conducted in audit of a company, you have to follow the standards. Guidance notes, again, is mandatory, but in case you're deviating from the guidance note, appropriate disclosure should be made as to why you're deviating. And as far as other literature is concerned, it's recommendatory in nature. So these are some of the service and assurance standards that have been given. I will not go into great detail. And again, these are the engagement standards, standards on auditing. And of course, what is the benefits of auditing standards? I can only say that the benefits that would arise by following this auditing standards, the quality of audit would improve. Today, friends, when we go to the Reserve Bank of India, when we talk to them about bank audit, the first thing that is raised before us is the quality of our bank audits. You go before the CBDT, when you appear before the chairman, our tax audits are being questioned. You go to the MCA, they ask you the frauds that are not being discovered with auditors. Every regulator is looking at, telling you that the quality of the work being done by our members is not up to the mark. So how do we scale up the work? I think each one of us should introspect and see how we can scale up the work in our offices, how we can train the staff on these standards, how you can have proper documentation that is required for you to conduct audit. Chairman of the peer review board is Daya. He was telling me that they brought about a lot of changes. Today, audit documentation could be on digital form. You don't need to maintain hard copies of all, but documentation is critical because even in the disciplinary proceedings, what I've seen, I've been through the disciplinary proceedings for more than 3 years as a president, vice president, also as a council member. When we ask them for documentation, when they've issued a certificate to a bank or any institution, when we ask them what is this, papers you have document, they say, sir, we do not have it. So this is one thing which you need to keep in mind whenever you carry out an attest function, whenever you do an audit. Please ensure that you maintain proper audit documentation, digitize it so that it's accessible to you at any point of time. Because if in case you are subjected to disciplinary proceedings without audit documentation, you will be in trouble. That is my suggestion to you. So the auditing standards gives a reasonable assurance to the stakeholders, and it improves the quality and of the audit. And basically what really happens is the quality of audit would definitely go up. One slide on the ICDS. ICDS were issued by the Government of India in exercise of powers conferred under 145 Income Tax Act. 14 ICDS has been brought out of, after which 10 have been notified. Yes, these were the objectives, were very simple, but ultimately, friends, whether you're following the auditing standards, whether you're ensuring that the entity is following the ICDS, one thing you need to be sure is that there's a lot of expectation from the stakeholders as far as the profession is concerned. Today, the kind of frauds what you're seeing in the corporate sector, the kind of increasing NPAs in the banking sector, the question is, what were the auditors doing? I think all of us are aware of that. So let's resolve and let's try to see, at least in our own practice unit, can we improve the quality of audit? Can we improve the quality of work that is being done by our staff? Can we train our staff is something which we need to ponder. I'm sure this seminar, Gururaj Acharya would take you through the entire various standards, accounting standards, and he will guide us as to what exactly you need to do. And I'm sure all of us would be immensely benefited by this session. I'm extremely delighted to inaugurate this first conference on a hybrid mode, I can say. Generally, the institute conducts programs, when I qualified as a chartered accountant in 1990, I used to come to the branch. Those days we were meeting near Minerva Circle, near Minerva Circle, we used to attend the programs. Then we moved to this branch premises. We had a physical attendance. If you want to attend a branch program, you have to come to the institute, sit down and listen. Pandemic gave us an opportunity for webcast, but now we are following a hybrid model. I think you should continue the hybrid model. My request to the entire committee, this hybrid model should continue, and I hope I would ensure that whether you're watching it here or watching it at home, CP credit will be given. That he will ensure. And I would only request the chairman that hybrid should continue for some more time, because many people are finding it very comfortable to listen to. I've seen some of your webcasts last year when Ravindra Kore has done extremely good. The quality of the transmission, the audio, everything is top end. And I would request the chairman to see that this hybrid continues for some more time. My heartiest congratulations to the entire team once again. And good luck to each one of you. We are more or less out of the pandemic, you could say. But nevertheless, I just was telling Dayanivas is traveling around the country. Baba, please take care. Because of course, I have not traveled since the last about 1 year. But Dayanivas is traveling a lot. I told him, please do take care. And I'm sure we'll be able to get over the challenging times what we have. And good luck to each one of you. Thank you very much.
Friends, an excellent presentation from our chief guest. He explained the standard setting process, IFRS and Ind AS and many more things. Thank you very much, sir. Please put him a big round of applause. Friends, I missed out to mention about our first day resource person, CA Gururaj Acharya, sir. Last year also we began the program in his hand. ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಮುಖೇನ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಮುಖೇನ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರ್ಯವನ್ನ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಸಾಂಗವಾಗಿ ನೆರವೇರುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಮು ಬಾರದೆ, ಯಾವ ಸಂಕಷ್ಟನೂ ಬಾರದೆ ನೆರವೇರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯಾಗಿ ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ ಪೆಂಡಮಿಕ್ ಬಂದ್ರೂ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ನೆನೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಈ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅವರು ತುಂಬಾ ಸಂತೋಷದಿಂದ ನಾನೇ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರೇ. On behalf of Bangalore branch, on behalf of all of you, and on behalf of my committee, on my own behalf, this is the time to felicitate our chief guest and our first resource person, Sri Gururaj Acharya. I request our Central Council member, Dayaniva Sharma sir, to felicitate them on this occasion. Please join all the dignitaries on the dais.
At the outset, I take this opportunity on behalf of Managing Committee of Bangalore branch to give formal vote of thanks for today's program. On behalf of entire Bangalore branch of SIRC of ICI, all Managing Committee members and entire participants, both physically and virtually, I must remark a profound sense of gratefulness, and I submit my humble gratitude to our chief guest of today's program, CA Raghu, past president of ICI, who served our institute for last 27 years. I wholeheartedly thank you once again, sir, for sparing your valuable time and addressing all of us. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I also thank a special guest, CA Dayaniva Sharma, Central Council members. Special thanks to you, sir, once again, and big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I also thank CA Geeta Abi, Treasurer of SIRC of ICI. Sincere, generous thanks to our speaker of the day, CA Gururaj K. Acharya. I also thank our past chairman of the branch and SIRC, CA Kota Srinivas, for his gracious presence for today's program. Big round of applause for all the dignitaries. I take this occurrence to thank my entire managing committee. Special thanks to outgoing chairman CA Ravindra S. Kore for its excellent chairmanship. I thank all my staff of Bangalore branch for continuous support in making today's event successful. It's also a tribute to host all members present here. Without all of you, we couldn't make it successful. Special thanks to all of you. Thank you once again. And before we continue with the technical session, let's take a break for 15 minutes and assemble bank. Thank you. Online members, I request you to kindly come back after 15 minutes. Thank you.
Shall we start? Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Nirvignam Kurume Deva ಶುಭ ಕಾರ್ಯೇಷು ಸರ್ವದಾ. ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಗಣಪತಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಗಣಪತಿ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ. ನಾವೇನಾದ್ರು ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ತಡೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ಒಳ್ಳೇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹಾರೈಸ್ತಾ ಹೊಸ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜಿಂಗ್ ಕಮಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಏನು ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್, ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಿಗ್ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬ್ರಾಂಚಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. I congratulate them and wish all good luck and have God's grace behind them. Just in the manner that the past chairman is here, Ravindra Kore, who has done an excellent job. I always told last year, 17th February, when he took charge last year, I was here and wished him good luck. Although it turned to COVID year, you will always be remembered as the COVID chairman. COVID chairman, the one who was on screen in everybody's house. No other chairman would have had that privilege. So therefore, you must consider yourself lucky. And to top it all, you've got the best branch. I think that is the icing on the cake. I always used to say he has come from Karnataka State Chartered Accountants Association. He was the president of Karnataka State Chartered Accountants Association, and from there he came to Bangalore as the chairman of the Bangalore branch. In fact, Karnataka is bigger than Bangalore, but for our profession, Bangalore is actually bigger than Karnataka. I mean, you know what I mean. Having said that, in the same breath, B.T. Shetty, who has taken over the chairmanship today, is also an international person. If Korea has come from Karnataka to Bangalore, B.T. Shetty, I should say, has come from Dubai. I mean, he was in United Arab Emirates for almost 5 years. And I think the Bangalore branch will have an international perspective. So that way, I congratulate the entire team and wishing them good luck and God's, grace for the entire term. And I'm sure with that vibrant team, all the members of Bangalore branch and all the members of our country will be the beneficiaries. And with the pandemic and I'm sure this particular session is also beamed all over India. I mean, anywhere you can, all over India, anywhere in the universe. I should also recognize the presence of a very good friend of mine and a very learned person, Mr. Vinayak Pai. ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗ ಗಣಪತಿನ ನೆನೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡೆ, ಗಣಪತಿಯವರ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ in the form of Vinayak Pai. So he is ex-Infosys. In fact, Raghu talked about GDR, IFRS and things like that. While we have been talking about it, he's the one who has actually done IFRS in the initial stages in Infosys. So thanks for being here. That's why I requested you to come in the first and sit here. Now today's topic is very, in fact, B.T. Shetty called me 3 months ago, not last month or so, 3 months ago in the month of November or December. He called me and said, 19th, I'm going to take charge. I want you to start. So that itself shows he's a person with perfect planning. And when you plan to succeed, success is definitely possible. So with that, and when I told him various topics I gave, he said, this is a better topic to start off with. As chartered accountants, let's start with accounting instead of taxation or anything else. Okay, so today I'm talking about accounting standards on auditing and ICDS. In 1.5 hours, 1 hour 45 minutes, whatever possible, I'll try to give a gist of it. And what I'm trying to do in this session is focusing specifically on SMPs, small and medium practitioners, explaining the do's and don'ts through model drafts. When I'm projecting certain model drafts of notes and accounts and accounting policies, how it should look like. And one of the advantages with all the big concerns is they have a template and everybody borrows that particular template and uses that. Now, all these days, I mean, even in my initial year of practice, I considered Infosys, Wipro, and we used to read a lot of it. And the best of their accounting policies, the best of their notes, we used to take it into our financial statements, which we used to prepare. But today, if you do that, you run the danger of copying you are actually an engine driver for a regular train, whereas they are actually running a metro. Let me say they're on a broad gauge and we are on a meter gauge. So that those two will actually not gel. So you cannot copy from there. So actually, therefore, I want to, maybe in KCA or Bangalore branch itself, come out every year with a template, because a lot of changes also happen. A lot of change. In fact, this template, I'm leaving it here, and it will also be hosted in the Bangalore branch website, which we change every year considering the changes, and use that template so that we don't commit a mistake. But the problem with templates is you will have to always customize it to your requirement. When you cannot borrow somebody else's template and copy it, point number one. And point number two to be noted is, between the years it has to change. I mean, what was true last year cannot be true this year. So we'll have to be very careful and cautious when you're using the templates. It can be a starting point, but definitely not a end in itself. So that is the way we need to look into the templates. So before we get into the accounting standards, we need to understand that for small and medium companies, there has been certain relaxation given in the accounting standards itself. In the accounting standard, today in accounting standards, we have actually 3 sets of accounting standards. And I always ask this question, how many accounting standards are there? And the normal answer that I get is 28, 27, 29. In fact, that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is how many sets of accounting standards are there in India. In fact, at least there are 3 sets of accounting standards. One is Ind AS, one is accounting standards. One, accounting standards have further been broken up into accounting standards for companies, which are called as accounting standards coming out of companies' accounting standard rules, and accounting standards coming out of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Now, accounting standards from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India today is applicable only to non-corporates. All the corporates in India, all the companies in India have to follow either the Ind AS or they have to follow the Companies Accounting Standard Rules 2006. Very interestingly, Companies Accounting Standard Rule 2006 has to be followed by companies registered even under Companies Act 2013. Even after Companies Act 2013, what is prevalent in what we are following is Companies Accounting Standard Rules 2006. In fact, that is why, yes, sir. Yeah. And this presentation, whatever is on the screen, will be shared. If you want to write down anything else, I think the entire program is also recorded. You can always hear it once again afterwards. So having said that, so Companies Accounting Standard Rules 2006 is prevalent even after the coming in of Companies Accounting Standard, Companies Act 2013. That is why I will tell you, there is one Rule 7 of the Companies Accounting Standard Rules, which connects these two and says that even under Companies Accounting Standard 13, Companies Act 2013, what accounting standard still it is formulated by NACAS or whoever the authority is, we will adopt whatever is there in Companies Accounting Standard Rules 2006. So that is how that Rule 7 becomes important. Now, before I get into that, so we have within the accounting standards for corporates, we have 2 sets. For the same set, for small and medium companies, there has been certain relaxations which have been provided. Now, who is a small and medium company? I want you to get into the details. There are certain cutoff provided. I don't want to get into the details, rather spend more time in understanding the differences and minor aspects. So what are the relaxations given to a small and medium companies? That is also there in the template. In the presentation, I don't want to get into the details. They have been given certain relaxations under Accounting Standard 15, employee benefit, Accounting Standard 19 on leases, Accounting Standard 20, earning per share when you don't have to disclose a diluted earning per share for a small and medium company. Impairment of assets, there has been certain relaxations. And finally, provisions, contingent assets and contingent liabilities, disclosures have been relaxed. Now, if you see the entire thing, the very interesting thing is for every company, I always consider this, accounting standards can be classified as recognition-based standards and disclosure-based standards. Now, what is a recognition-based standard? for that which actually requires a journal entry to be passed, a measurement to be made. Always accounting standards, I keep telling RMPD. It has got recognition, presentation, measurement, and disclosure. Recognition, measurement, presentation, and disclosure. Now, what is recognition? A passing of a journal entry is a recognition. What is measurement? The value that you assign for that particular entry is the measurement. What is presentation and disclosure? Now, let us spend a minute to understand what is presentation and disclosure. The moment we say presentation, we don't have an option to deviate from that. Now, the balance sheet and profit and loss account, whatever is given, the balance sheet and profit and loss account, Schedule 3, is a presentation. And some of the presentations will also be told by the accounting standards. For example, earning per share should be shown on the face of profit and loss account. Earning per share should be shown on the face of the profit and loss account. So that in the profit and loss account, I should show it in the profit and loss account itself at the end. Now that is a presentation. Now what is a disclosure? A disclosure is that which has to come in financial statement, on which you have the liberty to show wherever you want. Am I clear? So in the case of a presentation, you don't have a liberty to change the presentation. Now you have to have property, plant and equipment. You have to have non-current assets. Then you have to have current assets. You cannot toggle between them. Now, very interestingly, the entire balance sheet presentation goes from the most senior to the most liquid. The most senior to the most liquid. What does that mean? If you look into the liability side, you will have, first of all, share capital. Then you will have reserves and surplus. That is what is meant by the senior most liability. If at all you call equity as a liability, that will be there on the top. Then you will have non-current liability. The way it is structured also, within non-current liability, suppose you want to show debentures. You want to show debentures, and you have a debenture which is maturing, let us say, in 2027, and a debenture which is maturing in 2025. You cannot show debentures 2025 and debentures 2027. So within this, also the most senior, 2027 will be the most senior. That means it will be there for a longer period. So that has to be on the top, and the junior will be at that means that which gets liquidated will be at the bottom. Suppose in the financial statement, you are showing 25 on the top and 27 on the bottom. That will be picked up as a mistake by whoever is checking up. Who is checking up? I mean, you may be worried. I am the final authority. I, as a chartered accountant, I am signing the financial statements. I am the final authority. The answer is no. There are auditors sitting over the auditors. When that is from the institute side, we have the peer review board or the financial reporting review board and things like that. So we have the, in fact, I sit on, Vinayak is here. He's also a part of the financial reporting review board, where we actually find out that the institute has sends the financial statements to technical reviewers, and thereafter it is placed before a 4-member team called the financial reporting review group, which finds out, are there any mistakes in the financial statements, and if there are any mistakes, what action will be taken. If it is a serious mistake, which affects the true and fairness of the financial statement, that matter will be referred to the disciplinary committee of the institute. And if it is a minor mistake, I mean, I would call 2027 and 2025 misplacement. That is misrepresent. I mean, I would say presentation is wrong. So it may be correct, but the presentation is wrong. It could be a misrepresentation itself in that sense. So that will be considered as a technical mistake. And even such mistakes, an advisory will be sent to the chartered accountant. An advisory will be sent to the chartered accountant to tell that there is a mistake, you must set it right in future. And that matter will also be referred to the peer review board. That matter will also be referred to the peer review board, so that next time when the peer review board peer review happens, they will check whether that mistake has been set right. So these are all the mechanisms there. So that is how we have to look into. So what I was trying to tell is recognition, measurement, presentation, and disclosure. So every standard will have 4 aspects. The liberalization or the dilution of some of the standards are given to the SMCs only to the extent of presentation and disclosure. If there is anything to be recognized, that standard has not been given as a relaxation to the small and medium companies also. Now, if you look into employee benefit, they said that for defined benefit plan, I will give a certain relaxation because that's a very detailed standard. I will give a small relaxation, very small relaxation with respect to recognition, measurement, presentation, and disclosure. For leases, they have said only disclosure I will give you a relaxation. For earning per share, you don't have to you have to calculate basic earning per share, but diluted earning per share you don't have to calculate for an SMC. So like that, accounting standard 28 for calculating the value in use, you can take a reasonable estimate instead of a very scientific estimate. And for provisions, contingent assets, and contingent liability, let us be clear, provisions, contingent assets, and contingent liability, the measurement is required, but the detailed disclosure is given a relaxation even for small and medium companies. So that's a point to be noted. Then they have gone, please don't confuse. Why I put up this particular slide is to tell that small and medium companies for the purpose of accounting standards is not the same as small companies as told in Companies Act. In fact, Companies Act uses small company and small and medium company. So the definition is different. We need to know that particular aspect. I'm not getting into the details of that. So Financial Reporting Review Board has come out with a book, has come out with a detailed analysis. It's called in February 2018, they have issued a book, volume 3, wherein they have told all the companies that they have analyzed, in which place the non-compliances have been higher. In fact, that's what they have shown, that Companies Act non-compliance has been the highest. That means mostly Schedule 3 non-compliances. Mostly Schedule 3 non-compliances. Then they have gone to the extent of telling within the accounting standard, which accounting standard is the one which has not been followed the highest. I mean, I would say where the deviations were the highest. Which is that? Accounting standard? No, CARA is okay. Within the accounting standards, accounting standard 3. I tried to analyze why accounting standard 3, which is on cash flow statement, has a highest amount of deficiency. You know what is the reason? The amount of importance that we in our office give for balance sheet and profit and loss account, we don't give the same amount of importance to the cash flow. All of you agree? Now what happens is we prepare that and we give it to the junior to look into the cash flow, because cash flow is a derivative. Cash flow is a derivative, and we say that we are more concerned with computation of income. And that is one thing which we look into very detailed, then profit and loss account, balance sheet. And if that is tallying, then as far as cash flow is concerned, we don't give the same amount of importance as we give it to the first two financial statements. So therefore, I feel that a lot of mistakes happen there. So please look into cash flow also, because the reviewer looks into cash flow also. In fact, I was talking about how to read a cash flow statement. And we are chartered accountants, we are focusing on how to prepare a cash flow statement, what should come under financing activity, what should come under investment activity, and what should come under operating activity. Now, what if in the operating activities, if it is a negative, and investment activity, it is a negative? I mean, all the three cannot be negative. Finally, there must be something which is positive, which will make it up. Or it should be made out of the opening cash and cash equivalent. Finally, that is how it is. So what if it is positive and negative? Reading of the cash flow itself is an art. Now, we always say if operating activity is negative, then I think there is something wrong with that particular company. There could be a very good amount of profit in the profit and loss account. Finally, in the cash flow statement, in the operating activity, if I have a negative, then the profits are for books only. They are not actually getting converted into cash. If it is investment activity negative, it is a good sign. Why is it a good sign? I'm investing for future betterment. I mean, I have made some investments out of which I can have I can reap better rewards in future. And as far as financing activity is concerned, it can be positive or negative depending on the period in which you are. So that is how it happens. So please look into this. I mean, I'm just giving you an idea as to how the institute has actually tabulated the mistakes. In fact, in this particular book, they have gone to the extent of saying within each accounting standard, which paragraph has not been complied the most. Because we can find out in Financial Reporting Review Board, what we do is only based on the financial statements, apparent mistakes. or presentation requirement and disclosure requirement. I cannot find out the recognition. The measurement, definitely I will not be able to make out unless it is very apparent. So mostly the mistakes that are found out by FRRB is with respect to presentation or disclosure requirement. So that is how it is. Now, I don't know whether you will be able to see the screen. One of the recent cases which when I had to see on the audit report. On the audit report, now we have 3 standards for reporting: 700, 705, 706. 700 is unmodified, clean report. Whenever all the transactions are truly and fairly presented, then I will use the SA 700 standard to give my report. If there is any modification in my opinion, then I will have to use SA 705. What is that SA 705? It talks about you can modify your opinion based on the situation in 3 different manners. One, it could be either a qualified opinion, which most of us use, qualified opinion. That means I give a basis for qualified opinion. Financial statements, the gratuity is not properly computed. That is the qualification. Subject to the above, I will say that the financial statements reflect true and fair. Is true and fair. So that is qualification. The second one, in fact, I should not even use the word subject to, it should be except for. And the wordings have also been told because they are not very clear. Now, when it comes to the second type of modification, that type of modification is called a disclaimer. What is a disclaimer? That means I don't have enough evidence to comment on whether the financial statements are true and fair. So I am not giving that is also an opinion. Now, it is considered as an audit. I can file my financial statements to the income tax department. How the authorities will look into that particular opinion is another question. Whether they will go in for a special audit or whether SEBI will again tell that you should come back with the proper compliance is another question. But as far as my job is concerned as an auditor, I completed and I can issue a bill for my audit fees and collect it. The third type of opinion is called the adverse opinion, which we rarely give. What is that adverse opinion? Financial statements do not reflect a true and fair situation of the whatever activity. So we can give 3. Now, in this particular financial, and there is another type of opinion, which SA 706 talks about emphasis of matter and other matter paragraph. Now, what is an emphasis of matter and other matter paragraph? Emphasis of matter, that means, let us be very clear, it is not a qualification. It is not a qualification. A matter which is properly dealt with in the financial statement, which is also there, a note is there in the financial statement. I, in my audit report, or I'm pointing out and I am emphasizing the matter. Look at this. The word itself is very clear. Emphasis of matter. So the matter is already there in the financial statement. In my audit report, I am emphasizing that particular matter. Look at that. That is of such a significance that your decision may, for investing or whatever, it is of such a fundamental use. The standard itself uses the word, the matter is of such fundamental use to the user that you as an auditor are drawing attention to that particular point in the financial statement. So that is emphasis of matter. And very clearly we say it is not qualified. The above information, whatever matter is given, is not, it should not be considered as a qualification. Other matter paragraph. What is this other matter paragraph? Other matter paragraph is an opinion which it's not even, it's a matter with respect to audit. I would always say it should not be called as other matter paragraph. It is an audit matter paragraph. You want to say something about audit. Let us say, out of the 100 branches, 7 branches which constitute less than 1%, you have not audited. You have not audited, or somebody else has audited. Then you want to bring this particular fact of the matter to the readers. Then that matter is brought out under a separate paragraph called other matter. So this is told in 706. So both the emphasis of matter and other matter paragraphs are not modifications. Now, are we clear? Now, of all the things, I always keep jocularly telling this, the easiest one is to draft a unmodified opinion. You don't have to use any further English there. For the sake of simplicity, don't use the unmodified. Don't use the SA 700 when SA 705 has to be used, because SA 705 is actually to be customized to that particular situation. Now look at this. I don't know if you look at this particular, I will read out under the qualified opinion. I want you to tell me whether this report is SA 705. That much I am telling. It's a modified opinion. Whether it is of the modification, I told you 3 types: qualified, disclaimer, adverse. Adverse means not true and fair. Disclaimer means unable to comment whether it is true and fair. Qualified means, can it be all the 3? Can it be any 2? It should be any one of them. No? It should be either a qualified or a disclaimer, or it should be a adverse opinion. Now look at this. I will read out this. Under qualified opinion, he says, because of the significance of the matters described in the basis of qualified opinion paragraph, we have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to provide a basis for an audit opinion. Accordingly, we do not express an opinion on the financial statements. So what type of an opinion is this? Very clear? Disclaimer. Now look at the next paragraph. In our opinion, and to the best of our information and according to the explanation given to us, except for, I mean, this is what it is, except for the possible effects of the matters described in the basis of qualified opinion, the aforesaid standalone financial statements give the information required by the Act in the manner so required and give a true and fair view in conformity with the accounting principles generally accepted in India of the state of affairs of the Companies Act 2017 and its profit and loss for the year. Now, what type of opinion is this? In the first paragraph, it is disclaimer. In the second paragraph, it is this permitted? This is absolutely misleading. Absolutely misleading. And this is a signed report, which the institute has picked up or whatever. Somebody must have complained or whatever. So this will be a case where, I mean, I would not say the institute will take up a disciplinary proceeding on such a situation. Let us be very clear that we should be educated and we should not do such a mistake. You see what is the, you cannot give, maybe, I mean, I was just thinking, why did such an auditor give like this? If somebody asks tomorrow if the company fails, and goes to the auditor, what the auditor was dealing, he'll say, look at my first paragraph, I have given a disclaimer. I mean, to protect himself. And maybe the client wanted, no, we don't want disclaimer. We want you to give an opinion. So to satisfy the client, he has given the second paragraph. Can such a thing happen? Can such a thing happen? No, absolutely not. You cannot try to please both. You know, you'll have to be very clear. So clarity is the most important element of an audit report. So that's what I wanted to say. So what does the Financial Reporting Review Board do? Possible actions I've already told. I'm not getting into the details of that. So let's see what are the types of accounting standards and standards on noting. I just made some noting points. Notes on accounts. I mean, we prepare after the financial statements does not mean only balance sheet and profit and loss account. The explanatory notes and accounting policies together, cash flow statement, and for an Ind AS financial statement, two more financial statements. I mean, two more statements. One is statement of changes in equity. The other one is other comprehensive income. So these are the other two statements which have to be referred. If you are preparing an Ind AS financial statements, you cannot say the profit and loss account, balance sheet and cash flow statement are okay. We'll have to even use the word. In fact, that is a mistake. Other statement of changes in equity and other comprehensive income is also okay. We'll have to use those five along with the explanatory statement together becomes the total set of financial statements. In an accounting standard environment, we have only balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow, and other explanatory notes with accounting policies. Let's be very clear. Notes on accounts cannot be a substitute for qualification. What do I mean by that? Suppose in the notes, there is a statement like this: debtors, creditors, and other personal accounts are subject to confirmation. confirmation. It is there in the notes to financial statements. Now, as an auditor, what is my role? Do I keep quiet, or do I have to bring it as an emphasis of matter, or do I have to qualify it? What is your view? It can certainly not be an emphasis of matter. An emphasis of matter is a matter which is correctly dealt with in the financial statement. As an auditor, it is my responsibility to get proper confirmation and ensure that the numbers are having all integrity. I mean, it is all proper. If it is subject to confirmation, means it is actually. Now, if the management comes and tells, why are you putting this as a qualification? Why are you putting that as a qualification? It is already there in notes. No? Look at this. It's already there in the notes to financial statements. So that is where I have to come and tell you that notes and accounts cannot be a substitution for qualification. Notes to accounts, financial statement, who is the author of that? Management. And we are very clearly telling that in our audit report today. In our audit report, very clearly we are telling who is the author of the financial statement. So we are not very clear. I mean, we are not telling. We are very responsibility of the management, responsibility of the auditor. Under the response, we are telling that they are responsible for that. So the entire thing is owned by them. They are the authors of the financial statement. I am the author of the audit report. I am the author of the audit report. So you say, I mean, let us say if the management says that is there in the notes, you will say that it is there in your textbook, but my textbook or my script, wherever I have to give my opinion, that has to be there in the audit report as a qualification, as rightly said, and not as a emphasis of matter. Because this is one thing which the FRRB has been pointing out, saying that subject to confirmation is there in the financial statement. An auditor has not really qualified such a thing. Notes cannot be copied from the published accounts. We have already seen this. Earlier, Infosys, Wipro, Reliance Industries Limited were considered as standards. I mean, I'm saying that used to be the standard. Instead of reading the accounting standards and standards on auditing, copy and paste from there would have been a ideal situation, because that was ideal. But now you cannot do that. Audit report for large and small companies. Audit report, look at this. Audit report format is the same for large and small companies. You agree with that? Except that from last year onwards, there has been a small change. In a large company, which means it's a listed company, there is one more paragraph called key audit matters, which in a small company, which is not a listed company, in a non-listed company, it is a option. So even if you copy from some other company and if it is matching to your small company, it will not be considered as a mistake. So in that sense, having said that, so notes must be customized to your company's requirement. Notes must be customized to every year for the same company. So last year notes, we see that when we talk about significant accounting policy, we see that there is no interest income at all. There is no interest income at all in the P&L. But there is an accounting policy on recognition for interest income. Should it be given? Should it be given? And the converse of it, in one of the company, interest income was a very big revenue. There was no accounting policy for how you have measured the. In some other situation, all accounting policies are as per the accounting standards. Can we give like that? Why should we not give like that? For a moment, let us think. Why should we not give it like that? You must understand that the reader of the financial statement is not a chartered accountant. The reader of the financial statement is not a chartered accountant. He may be a banker. He may be some investor. So for him, he does not know the entire background of that. So for him to know, we have to give out the details as required. It could be an income tax department also. I mean, so we have to really give out the spell out the obvious. It may be obvious. It may be obvious to me and to another chartered accountant and for the company, but we have to spell out the obvious. So emphasis of matter, we have already seen, not a substitute for qualification. It's not a substitute for. Can emphasis of matter be a substitute for qualification? Like just now what we mentioned. Debtors and creditors are subject to qualification. Now I will say in my emphasis of matter, please refer to note number 11. where it says that debtors and creditors are subject to confirmation. Can I give such an emphasis of matter? And then emphasis of matter is not a qualification. Is not a qualification. I have to put those words that it is not a qualification. So I cannot call that as a emphasis of matter. In fact, emphasis of matter is considered as the audit report is clean, but I am emphasizing a matter. But this has to be a matter of qualification. Matter in the financial statement must give sufficient information. Another grouse of the FRRB is, if there is some emphasis of matter, that matter should be properly dealt with in the financial statement, and a detailed description should be given in notes. And that matter you will have to emphasize. If that elaboration is not proper in the financial statement, then I am afraid you will have to say the same emphasis of matter will become a qualification. But the disclosure with respect to that is not proper. Let us say a contingent liability. Now you have a 10 crores or 20 crores contingent liability, and you give a detailed explanation as to what that contingent liability reason and all those stuff, and why you consider it as a contingent liability. That is a proper disclosure. If the disclosure is not there, just say that contingent liability of 10 crores is there without giving the detailed explanation, then I'm afraid that this matter cannot be an emphasis of matter. Rather, it should be a qualification to say that the disclosure with respect to contingent liability is not proper. So that is the game there. So subject to confirmation cannot be an emphasis of matter, but it must be qualified. Another interesting situation is internal financial controls. Internal financial controls. What is an internal financial control report? Now, all the companies today, we have to give an IFC report also. What is the difference between an audit report and an IFC report? In an audit report, you will tell what were the mistakes that were there in the financial statements. In an IFC report, you will say what could be the possible mistakes, that can occur in future because of lack of controls. Now a very interesting situation came out, wherein in the financial statements, there were a lot of qualifications. Maybe gratuity liability is not properly dealt with, has not been properly provided for. Contingent liabilities have not been properly disclosed. So many qualifications were there. What in the IFC report, a company had given a clean internal financial control report. Can this happen? Can there be a high amount of qualification in the audit report, in the main audit report, and in the IFC report it is clean? Can such a situation happen? Look at this. I am saying the possibility of a future mistake, may not be there, is what I am saying. And at the same breath, I am saying that in the past there are mistakes. I mean, in the past means in the current financial statement itself there are mistakes, which is not to my satisfaction, not as per the generally accepted accounting principles. And I am saying in future it will be okay. I mean, that is not possible, is what we are saying. So if there has been a qualification which has a bearing on the financial statements and the financial controls, then IFC also needs to be qualified to that extent. Am I clear? Okay. The going concern has been a matter of big concern now. There has to be a separate, in case going concern is a fundamental accounting assumption. If I don't talk about going concern, then it is presumed that everything is fine. However, if the financial statements are such that on the face of it you feel that the going concern is disturbed, that means the company may not be able to meet its commitments in future, and the company's going concern ability is not visible, then the auditor has to draw a separate paragraph to say that the going concern is in fact disturbed. But if the management gives him a satisfactory answer to say that don't worry, we have got holding company support, the promoters will put in fresh funds and things like that, and ensure that the concern will not be a dying concern, rather it will continue as a going concern. If they give me enough evidence, then I will have to bring out a separate paragraph on going concern to say, because of these reasons, the going concern is getting affected. And because of these reasons, the company will continue in spite of the deficiency in the going concern assumption. Let me also put it this way. If the management does not give me convincing evidence that going concern, when they don't give me any supporting documents to say that in future they will put in money, etc., then the same matter will become a qualification. If they have prepared the financial accounts on a going concern basis, if the balance sheet and profit and loss account is prepared on a going concern basis, and I feel that the going concern is in fact disturbed, the concern is not going to be a going concern in future, then I have to bring it as a matter of qualification. Earlier it used to be, I mean, whatever paragraph I said, if you are convinced, you bring out a separate paragraph that I am convinced that although the net worth is negative, the current liability is exceeding the current assets, therefore going concern is going to be disturbed. But the management has given enough evidence to say that they have the support of the holding company or they are going to put in, I'll bring it as a separate paragraph. Prior to 2017 and 18, we used to bring it as an emphasis of matter. That means why the institute now, I mean in SA 700 and 700 only, they go on to say that this matter cannot come under one or two or three points under emphasis of matter. It is such a big matter that it requires an attention through a separate paragraph. Am I clear? So that is how going concern should be dealt, a separate section. Lot of non-compliances with respect to accounting policy disclosures. So we will see that through a template. I also told you in Ind AS accounting standards or audit report should also refer to other comprehensive income and statement of changes in equity. If you don't refer these two is okay, then to that extent there is a technical non-compliance. Although there may be a statement of changes in equity and other comprehensive income in the financial statements, the auditor should say the balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow statement, OCI and SOCI along with explanatory notes is true and fair. So note a reference wrong. When I will say that earning per share, refer note number 37. Whereas if you go to the notes, it will not be in 37, it will be in 38. I mean, you may say, what is there? One small mistake, na bolke. But even that mistake is considered to be a technical mistake. So we should avoid such a mistake. Since we are also talking about ICDS, I thought one point we will refer here is because of ICDS adjustments, lot of scrutiny notices are now coming around this. They are saying ICDS compliance and adjustment is a common reason for it to be picked up for 143(2) adjustment. So be careful when you are putting anything under the ICDS column, especially when the depreciation in income tax is higher and in accounting is lower, leading to lower taxable income. They feel that the department feels that ICDS should have actually led to higher income. I mean, introduction of ICDS is to lead to a higher total income, but this year, by the first year or whatever year, if the total income has reduced by virtue of introduction of ICDS, that has come in as a shocker for them. So they want a question keeps on coming in the scrutiny notices as to why do you give us a justification as how the ICDS has led to a reduced total income. So we'll have to be very careful when ICDS is applied and total income reduces, double check it, because a question or a scrutiny on that particular aspect is going to be there for sure. Okay. Beware and watch out. Trade receivable balances subject to reconciliation, we've already seen. The second thing is inventories as certified by the management. In the financial statement, we have inventories as certified by the management. Is there a mistake here? Is there a mistake here? Yes or no? What is the mistake? Yeah. Now, the moment you put inventories, where is this in the financial statement? We are saying inventories as certified by the management. Who is putting this note? Who is putting this note? Now, if such a note is there, what is the meaning that comes out of that particular note? That inventories are not certified by the chartered accountant, are not certified by the auditor. That is the meaning that I am going to get. Now, if if I put this was okay for a long time before the introduction of responsibility of management, responsibility of auditors, etc. Now we are very clear. You don't tell what I should say. And whatever I have to say, I will say it in my audit report. In fact, every item in the financial statement is certified by the management. You look at this. Every item in the financial statement is certified by the management. What is so special about inventories to say that it is certified by the management? In fact, what they want to convey is this inventory is not certified by the auditor. The meaning of this that comes out is inventory is not certified by the management, is not watched by the management. That is the meaning which is coming. So is this meaning okay for, and if such a thing is there, if the auditor says, I'm giving a clean report, is it okay? So therefore, this is what I wanted to draw. Such a thing cannot be there in the financial statement. Related party disclosures as certified by the management. Can this be there? In fact, the objection of some of the auditors, they still want to put it. Some big fours also, they want to say that we want to put this as certified by the management for the reason that I do not know who are all the brothers of the directors. He has to, I presume, how do I know who are all his brothers? Related parties and who are all related parties according to accounting standard. Aju baju, aage piche, upar niche. We have all these related parties. I don't know who are all the related parties. Once I know that these three people are related parties and these are not, then any transaction with these three parties, I will take it as transactions with related parties. But how do I know that this is his brother? To that extent, he has to give a certificate. I go by his documentation, whatever certification he has given. Now, that is what I am telling here. Related party disclosures, related parties are as certified by the management. But I am disclosing this on the face of the financial statement. Is it correct or wrong? Now, what we are objecting to is, you take this as a matter of your additional documentation process and keep it in your documentation. Keep it in your documentation. You don't have to make this apparent statement in the financial statement. I will definitely pardon you. The institute, if it is taking up on a disciplinary matter or whatever, the institute will definitely consider this aspect. But then don't have to say this as certified by the management, because everything is certified by the management. Everything is certified. Otherwise, it could lead to a misleading thing that only this is certified by the management, nothing else is certified by the management. So that could be the harm there. Now, previous year figures for each item in the notes to be provided. Are we giving this? Are we giving previous year figure for each item in the financial statement? No, we may be giving. We may be giving. Please note, even in the notes to financial statements, something is there. I have to give a comparative figure of the last year. We may be giving that also. But what we have come across is, in the fixed asset schedule, today you cannot call it as fixed assets. What is it? Property, plant and equipment. In property, plant and equipment, are you giving the previous year figure? Are we giving the previous year figure? We are giving the previous year totals, right? We are giving the previous year totals. Is that sufficient, or should we give previous year figure for the additions also? Let us say plant and machinery. I have opening balance is 7 crores. Additions during the year is 1 crore. Previous year additions against this 1 crore, how much did I make? 50 lakhs. Am I giving that? When most of the companies are not giving this. When once I came into FRRB, let me tell you, getting into this aspect, one thing you will come out is, you will try to be clinically perfect. Okay. So now we are realized, previous year figure, we have to give for every item in the financial statement, including the additions and opening balances and things like that, not just the totals. So what we are doing in our office is, the previous year depreciation schedule we are replacing below. That solves. So comparative is given not on a line by line basis, on a statement to statement basis. So that's how it happens. Now, another interesting thing is DIN, the financial statements. In the financial statements, the auditor has to give his FRN number, membership number. Should the director, when he signs, give his DIN number? Should he give his DIN number? Yes or no? The answer is yes. If you don't give that, that can also be a technical mistake. Now you may be saying why is this DIN number so important? Today, every person is but a number. It could be if you are a company, you are a SIN. If you are a person, you can be either a PAN or no. For the purpose of signing as a chartered accountant, you are a mem number, and as a director, you are a DIN. I'm more interested in your DIN rather than in your name. Let us say Rakesh Sharma is the director of the particular company. In the banks, when I was sitting in the board, we used to, in banks also today, we'll come across, I have not been a willful defaulter in any other bank. And banks do a roll check. And they'll say, is Rakesh Sharma appearing as a defaulter in any bank? The moment they put Rakesh Sharma, 4 Rakesh Sharmas will come. And then they will say, this company is Rakesh Sharma. Are you a defaulter? Means he will say, I am not that Rakesh Sharma. I am not that Rakesh Sharma. Naturally, even if he is so, he will say, I am not that. So to block all this, if I say the DIN number, so the person who has defaulted in that particular company is DIN number 420, and I will say I am 840, then I will say that this DIN is a defaulter DIN, and my DIN number is 840, so I am not that same Rakesh Sharma. So that is the point. That is the significance of the word, the number there. Okay. Then section 134, financial statements should be signed by the chairperson or 2 directors. I mean, that is everybody knows. And the wording that should be used there is for and on behalf of the board. For and on behalf of the board. Now let us say, if Divya is signing, right, Divya madam? You are signing the financial statement. Yeah, I'm sure, I'm happy that BT Shetty is also here. When Mr. BT Shetty is signing the financial statements of Bangalore branch of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and the secretary also sign, they are not signing in their individual capacity. They are signing for and on behalf of the managing committee. For and on behalf of the managing committee. Similarly, the word for and on behalf of the board should be very clearly displayed there, and you cannot just sign in your individual names. That means when you are signing in your individual names, putting your DIN, I presume that you have signed without the proper approval of the board. So that is what is the intent of this. Let's get into the other aspects. Offsetting, advance tax and provision for tax. You know, we have paid advance tax, which is there on the asset side of the balance sheet, and provision for tax on the liability side. Should I net it off, or should I wait for the income tax department to give me the order for me to say finally it should be netted off? Very important. As soon as you complete your year, you have to net it off based on your self-assessment. That's why we say self-assessment. I do my self-assessment, and if my tax payable is finally 7 lakh rupees, in the balance sheet for 31/3/2020, 7 lakh should be there as payable. Maybe there could be some difference at the time of actual filing the return. It could go 7 lakhs, could become 6 lakh 20 or 7 lakh 70, depending on your TDS, interest, so many other reasons. But at the time of sign off, you will have to net it off, and you cannot keep it separately. Now, having said that, let me also tell you one more interesting thing. Provision for tax in the financial statement, let us say final advance tax, final provision for tax should be paid. Let us say a company has got a tax refund due. Most of the companies we have tax refund due. I will have 10 crores of tax refund due for 4 years. For 4 years, I have got 10 crores refund due. Now, in the financial statement, I can have tax refund due 10 crores. But in my grouping and in my ledger, it is definitely a good practice to have 4 different folios for that. Let me tell you one reason why I'm telling like that. Against 1 crore of tax refund due for 1 year, out of this 10 crores, let us say 3 crores, 3 crores, 3 crores, and 1 crore. Okay, and this 1 crore I received, against 1 crore I received 90 lakhs. 10 lakhs, the department says TDS is not matching or whatever. If I don't keep it as 3 crores, 3 crores, 3 crores, and 1 crore, and I keep it as 10 crores, I will just credit 90 lakhs and say 9 crore 10 lakhs is still due from the department. This I popularly call it, you may like it, as the apple cake accounting. You know what is apple cake? Have you eaten any time apple cake? From tomorrow onwards, maybe you will not eat. You know what is apple cake? Apple cake means ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಕ್ಗಳು ಉಳಿದಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ನಿನ್ನೆದು ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮುದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಕೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ತಿರುಪತಿ ಲಡ್ಡು ತರ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. That is apple cake. Okay, that is why it is very cheap and not 2 rupees 10 rupees whatever they sell it. So that apple cake accounting is what I call like this. The advance tax, I mean tax refund due, if you keep it as 10 crores, it is like apple cake. Finally, what you will have to do is you will have to do it segregate year wise in the groupings. You should have tax refund due for 2017-18, tax refund due for 18-19, 19-20, so that whenever that amount comes, you are able to put it into that. And if there is a balance, you will have to investigate as to why that balance, or should you write it off. So that is an important point to be noted here. So taxes have to be netted off. Not only taxes, even deferred tax assets and deferred tax liabilities also have to be netted off, as long as they belong to the same jurisdiction. And very interestingly, Infosys has a deferred tax asset and a deferred tax liability. Maybe this deferred tax asset is from China, deferred tax liability is to India. Then if it cannot be offset, if China and India cannot offset each other's tax refund or whatever provision, so therefore they are two different. But within India, even for any number of years, I can claim it as a offset, and I should do that, is what I am saying here. What if it doesn't come? Now, even if the right thing is to do this, because that is told in Accounting Standard 22. In Accounting Standard 22, para 37 very clearly says the taxes, both current and future, has to be netted off. Let me tell you, what is the advantage you get by keeping it separate? You have already filed your income tax by claiming it, by offsetting it in your income tax return. Why are you not offsetting it in your books of accounts? While we are on the subject of offsetting, let me tell you very interestingly, offsetting is not a rule. Items have to be kept as assets and liability, income and expenditure. You know, IFRS, the first principle itself says that offsetting is not permitted unless it is specifically required or permitted. I mean, let me give you a simple example. Can interest income and interest expenses be offset? Interest income is separate, interest expenditure is separate. So they have to be kept separately. So only those items which can be, let us say, dues to debtors, dues to creditors, I cannot. Debtors and advance paid to debtors, debtors and advance received from debtors, advance received from debtors, can it be offset? The answer is no, unless it is received from the same party and he says you can offset it. He says it is offsettable. Otherwise, if it is two different transactions, I should keep it separately only. So unless it is permitted or required by a standard, I should offset it. So this advance tax and provision for tax is required by the standard to be offset. Otherwise, sir, let me tell you, you are unnecessarily inflating the size of the balance sheet. That's the matter. So employee plan liability and plan assets, again, Accounting Standard 15 very clearly says it has to be offset. Other non-operating income to be net off expenses directly attributable to such income. Schedule 3 very clearly says if you have other non-operating income, let us say agricultural income, you are actually trading in goods and you have some services, and that is your operating income. Non-operating income, you have some agricultural activity, some 50 lakhs is your agricultural income. And towards this agricultural income, you have spent for seeds, for manure, for fertilizer, for hiring a labor, 10 lakhs. Now, what Schedule 3 wants you is other non-operating income is to be shown as 40 lakhs, not 50 and show 10 lakhs as an expenditure. That is how the requirement of Schedule 3 is. Net gain or loss, I mean, very interestingly, why this is done. Especially I take this example of agricultural income and say 50 lakhs and 10 lakhs. Why it is done? Tomorrow agricultural income is exempt from tax. From your profit, let us say you had a 10 crores profit. What you will do is I will have to say 50 lakhs ka upar there is no income tax. So 10 crores minus 50 lakhs. 10 crores minus 50 lakhs. And I should add back this expenditure which I have claimed, which is not an income which is exempt. The expenditure on the exempt income also should not be allowed. So what gets added is 10 minus 50 plus 10. So what is going to be taxed will be 9 crore and 60 lakhs and not 9 crore and 50 lakhs. Suppose the company and the auditor hides this. It's very difficult for the income tax department to know what is your agricultural expenditure related to agricultural income. So that is the basis why they want you to put the agricultural income itself net of expenses. And very interestingly, when they say you say net of expenses, you should say how much expenses. Net agricultural income, you say 40 lakhs. Within bracket, you will say net of expenses of rupees 10 lakhs. So that is how you have to disclose in the financial statement. So net gain or loss in foreign currency transactions shown under other income bar expenses and not under other operating income. So that is a point to be noted. So neither required nor permitted. So I'll skip this. Precautions with respect to accounting standards. Companies accounting standard rules. I cannot, this is very important. My first, let me now go to Word, because I'll then understand what it is. So let me take up the model notes, because that is the topic which I have. Is it visible? No, sir, if you want to make it, okay, I have to make it bigger. Anyway, it's visible, right? ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲೋ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮುಂದೆ ಬನ್ನಿ. Let me try to make it as big. Okay. Yeah, this is better. Okay, you see this explanatory notes. Let me now go to how this is the template that I was talking about. The template that I was talking about, which I am leaving it with the branch for 1920. When we are ready to prepare for 2021, we do that after the year end, because we have to wait for any announcements that will come up to March 21. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು March 21 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. So this is done for 1920. Explanatory notes forming part of the financial statements. We'll have to very clear whatever is highlighted in yellow or possible items which could be missed out. So forming part of the financial statements for the year ended so and so. Significant accounting policies. Now, you don't have to disclose all accounting policies. You may have an accounting manual to say what are all the various accounting policies I will follow for my company. But that which will be disclosed in my notes is only those which are significant, those which are material, those which are significant. So basis for preparation of financial statements. So the first thing I will say is the financial statements are prepared in accordance with Indian GAAP under the historical cost convention. If something is there in blue here, please understand, except in case of assets for which provision for impairment is made and revaluation is carried out. Now we'll use those words, please be very careful, only if such a situation is there. If none of my assets are revalued, I don't have to use these words. On accrual basis, GAAP comprises mandatory accounting standards as specified under section 133 of the Companies Act 2013, read with Rule 7 of the Companies Accounts Rules 2014. Now, what is this Rule 7? This Rule 7 is what I told you at the beginning, is the connecting, because Companies Accounting Standard Rules 2006 is what you're adopting even after 2013. Rule 7 says follow 2006 unless separate accounting standards comes into play. So I will have to say read with Rule 7 of the Companies Accounts Rules 2014. And here, why did I use this yellow? If you go back to my PowerPoint where I said, if you refer on an accrual basis, GAAP comprises mandatory accounting standards as prescribed by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I am sitting in the institute. I am telling not to use Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I hope you are able to understand. For a company, when you are using this, you should say I am following accounting standards as specified under 133 of the Companies Act 2013, read with Rule 7. For a non-corporate, if I use this, then it is a mistake. For a non-corporate, I should say mandatory accounting standards as specified or prescribed by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So that is how that change happens. So this is the first point. Then principles of consolidation. So today I may skip on principles of consolidation because, okay, point to be noted is every company which has a subsidiary or an associate shall compulsorily prepare a consolidated financial statement and file such a consolidated financial statement with the registrar of companies, separately. AOC4 CFS. You will have to file 2 financial statements with the registrar of companies by paying separate fee. Now, I'm not getting into the principles of consolidation, but I'm just saying that this is the disclosure that should be made in the notes and accounts. Then use of estimates. Every financial statement should have these mandatory prescribed words. But I'm saying using estimate is actually a, what should I say, a necessity while preparing the financial statement. So I'm bringing that necessity and telling it in the notes to account. The preparation of financial statement is in conformity to the GAAP. Management believes, and then I'm saying estimates are being used which are prudent, reasonable, etc. Then inventories. Inventories are valued at lower of cost and net realizable value. I cannot say valued at cost. Mistakes, possible mistakes that could be told here are inventories are valued at lower of cost and market value. What is the difference? Can I use the word market value? Market value is the selling price. Net realizable value is the expenses incurred to make it sellable. So net realizable value will be lower than the market price. So I have to use the word lower of cost and net realizable value. The cost has been measured on FIFO or weighted average basis and includes cost of purchases, cost of conversion, other costs. Now, if I don't use this word, the cost has been measured on FIFO or weighted average. If I don't use these words, then also it is a technical mistake. When cost or fair market net realizable value, whichever is lower, and within cost, I must say what costing methodology I have followed. Have I followed FIFO or have I followed weighted average basis? Cash flow statement. Cash flows are reported under indirect method. Can you follow a direct method? Now, what is the difference between a direct method and indirect method? Now, you have cash flow as operating activity, financing activity, and investment activity. For investment activity and financing activity, the methodology is the same. Only for operating activity, you can either follow a direct method or an indirect method. Both should give you the same cash from operating activity. Both will be the same. In the indirect method, what you do is you in the profit and loss account. In the profit and loss account, you start from the profit after tax, add back tax, and go to the cash profit. Whereas in the direct method, you come down from the top and come to the cash profit. Now you come down from the top, sales and purchases, sales to cash sales, purchases to cash purchase, and all expenses to cash outflow, and then you come to the cash operating profit. So if you are coming top down and reaching the cash operating profit, it is called the direct method. If you are going from bottom up and reaching the cash profit, it is called the indirect method. And all companies have to compulsorily follow the indirect method. So that is what you are telling. Although the accounting standard gives 2 options, either to follow the direct method or indirect method. So there is a requirement for all companies to follow indirect method. So you are saying that company cash flows are reported using the indirect method, etc., and cash equivalents, etc. Then events occurring after the balance sheet note, revenue recognition. Revenue is recognized when and revenue, again I told you, depending on what revenue, if it is goods, you'll have to put in the specific words. Now the next question is, if it is goods, should it be inclusive of GST or exclusive of GST? When should my revenue be inclusive of GST or exclusive of GST? So very clearly we are telling revenue is inclusive of goods and service tax, and GST is charged to statement of profit and loss account. This is one way of putting it. Revenue is exclusive of GST, and the right thing is to say exclusive of GST only. When you cannot today have a revenue is inclusive of GST, bolke you cannot have. So you will have to have revenue is exclusive of GST. When where it is told institute has told in the guidance note for Ind AS, they have told we adopted the same principles here. Because earlier we used to prepare sales, gross sales, less excise duty and net sales. Today that excise duty is not there. So GST, what we do is we give net of GST only. So that is the point to be noted. So like that, even revenue from service related activities recognized using the proportionate completion method or completed contract method. You cannot follow, I mean, what is given in gray here? Let me be very clear. What is given in gray shade is an option if you follow, which is wrong. Today, you cannot follow for a contract, for a service related, I mean, sorry, this is service related, it's okay. If it were to be construction contract, you cannot follow a completed contract method. For services related activity, you can still follow a completed contract method. Why I have put it in gray here is ICDS, Income Computation and Disclosure Standard, does not permit completed contract method, does not permit completed contract method as a accepted methodology. You will have to follow for service contracts only proportionate completion method. Okay. So similarly, lease rentals are recognized ratably. Mostly this is not properly done in so many cases. Lease rentals are recognized ratably on a straight line basis over the lease term. Now, what does this mean? I mean, this is very simple for those who are following Ind AS, but let me say that a company has first year rental of 10 lakhs, second year rental of 15 lakhs, third year rental of 20 lakhs, third year rental of 20 lakhs. In your debit to profit and loss account, following accounting standard 19, this becomes an operating lease. This becomes an operating lease. Treatment is totally different for Ind AS. I'm not talking about that here. In the accounting standard, although you are making a check payment of 10 lakhs in first year, you must debit to your profit and loss account 15 lakhs only. In year 2, you should debit 15 lakhs, and year 3 also you should debit 15 lakhs. Although the cash outflow is 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs and 20 lakhs. What is the reason? They say that unless it is for any other reason, you shall use the straight line basis only over the lease term. The lease term is for 3 years. 10 plus 15 plus 20 divided by 3 is 15 lakhs. So you will have to make 15 lakhs as a debit. Although you have paid only 10 lakhs, how will you show that additional 5 lakhs? You will have to create a lease equalization reserve. And then next year use that, and next year will be same. There's no reserve. Last year you will withdraw out of that and pay that. So that is how it has to be done. So lease rentals are recognized ratably on straight line basis over the lease term, both by the lessee and by the lessor. Both by the lessee and by the lessor. Now what does that mean? Even the person who is accounting it as an income should account 15 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 15 lakhs. Income tax will be very happy. But for income tax, I have to reverse this. In my computation of income, I have to reverse this 5 lakhs because I've actually received only 10 lakhs. There will be a TDS issue, so many other nonsense we'll have, but this is how the accounting standards. So some of the companies, what they do is, they follow 10, 15, 20 and ask the auditor to qualify. I mean, that's the another way of practically dealing with the situation. Otherwise, income tax is more important than following the accounting standard. So interest is recognized. Then property, plant and equipment. Most important, you cannot use the word fixed assets. You shall use the word property, plant and equipment only. Throughout, both in the financial statements and in the notes or accounts, you have to use property, plant and equipment. And you will have to give what is property, plant and equipment as a definition. From the accounting standard 10, property, plant and equipment are tangible items that are held for use in the production or supply of goods or services for rentals to others or for administrative purposes. And this is the new change which has happened 3 years back, and are expected to be used during more than a period of 12 months. So this is the change which will have to be brought out. This comprises and revaluation. If you have done revaluation, you have to give a note on that. Each part of an item of property, plant and equipment with the cost that is significant in relation to that cost. So the change that has happened now is, if you are revaluing, if you are, I mean, you will have to decide whether you are following the revaluation model or a cost model. If you have decided to follow a revaluation model, every year, I mean, it doesn't say every year, with the sufficient regularity, you must revalue that asset. You must revalue that asset. Good, na? But what is the bad aspect of it? The bad aspect of it is the depreciation on the revalued figure should be completely debited to P&L account, and no portion of it can be debited to the revaluation reserve. I mean, earlier we used to debit the depreciation to the extent of the revalued figure, the increased figure, to the revaluation reserve, and it was helping me in increasing the value of the asset for an outsider to show a higher net worth, and my earning per share was intact. Now, if you want to show an increased net worth, it comes at a cost of a reduced earning per share. So that is the implication. So suitable disclosures. Capital work in progress. Until the asset is ready for use, it will be capital work in progress, and until such date there will be no depreciation. Advance paid towards this thing will not come under capital work in progress. It will be under long-term advances. Very important, it will be under long-term advances. Advances paid, say it is under short-term advances, because ultimately it will become a long-term asset. Then depreciation and amortization, suitable notes have to be given. Very interesting. Prasanna is here in one of the places where we were the auditors and he is the treasurer. Okay, what has happened is we had prepared the fixed asset schedule, opening balances, additions during the year. The rate of depreciation is shown as 10%. And in the AGM, one of the person comes and points out that your depreciation schedule is wrong. I said, how is it wrong? Because if you on the total, if you apply 10%, I'm not getting this depreciation. In the notes, we are very clearly told that on the additions during the year, the depreciation is charged on a pro rata basis. Naturally, on the closing balance, if you add 10%, it will not come. So therefore, in the AGM, there was a big hue saying that there is a mistake in the depreciation schedule. So next time we decided, look at this, what is a change that we want, because we don't want people to think that we have committed a mistake. Of course, in the AGM, he said, and then there is no mistake and this is how it should be done. But the people don't understand. So what we decided next year is to bring the rate of depreciation, instead of giving it in the depreciation schedule itself, bring that rate in the notes of account so that nobody calculates apparently there. You see that? Otherwise, people don't know how to calculate and they think that there is a mistake. Okay. Now, since it is on a subject of mistake, I wanted to, before winding up, say there is something called the expectation gap. There are gaps. Now we talk about gaps, generally accepted accounting principles, that I compare it with the gap. Gaps today are of two types. One is the expectation gap. The other one is the delivery gap. What is the expectation gap? The regulators or the users of financial statements have started expecting more and more from the auditors. They think that once it is audited, there cannot be any mistake in the financial statement. There cannot be any mistake in the financial statement. Whereas that is not true. Is it true? Are we saying in the financial, in the audit report that it is free from misstatements? Definitely. We are telling that it is free from misstatements. But the assurance that we are giving is what assurance? Is it an ultimate assurance? Is it an absolute assurance? So what is the assurance we are giving? In fact, if you read the audit report, responsibility of the auditor, very clearly we are telling we are giving a reasonable assurance. What is a reasonable assurance? A high level of assurance, but not absolute. When you are saying that, that means you are fresh students who are reading audit. So a high level of assurance, but not an absolute level of assurance. It's not an absolute level of, we are telling that in the statement. So tomorrow, if somebody points out and says that, you should have told me what were the auditors doing. That was a question that Raghu was talking. What were the auditors doing? I will say, to the extent that is visible to me, by following all my standards on auditing, I will find out the mistakes. But beyond that, I am giving only a reasonable level of assurance, which I have told you in the audit report itself. It is not an absolute level of assurance. When in the limited review, we give a limited assurance, where we give a negative statement of assurance saying that we have not come across anything which will is making it untrue or unfair. I mean, that type of a negative assurance we are giving, but here we are giving a reasonable assurance. So if that is on the expectation gap, The readers think that we are giving an absolute assurance. The bankers, the regulators think that we are giving an absolute assurance. But what we are giving is reasonable assurance. That is an expectation gap. We have to cover this expectation through, I think what BT Shetty said, by involving the regulators also. I mean, one thing you said that, you would like to involve bring the image of the institute, right? What is that? I made a note of this. Image building exercise. While we are doing the image building exercise, please bring in as many regulators as possible. Let them know the good thing that we are doing. So that's an important point to be. So that is how we can tell them. I mean, I can always tell, you can always tell that what we are giving is a reasonable assurance. We are doing our best to protect the investors and investing community or stakeholders, in short. Okay. Having said that, there is something called a delivery gap. Now, what is a delivery gap? That means if I am not doing my job properly, then it is my mistake. And that is where I think we will have to upgrade rather than blame anybody else. So these are the two types of gaps I thought I will tell you before I wind up. So depreciation and amortization has to be given. Property, I mean, we talked about it. Intangible assets, if it is there and significant to the financial statements, how you are accounting. Look at this. You segregate the accounting policies from the other disclosures. Now here, when you are talking about depreciation, you are talking about class of assets, estimated useful life, etc. You are talking about how you are calculating earning per share. If you come down, you will see earning per share, foreign currency transactions, government grants, investments, employee benefits. So none of these are all only the significant accounting policies. The disclosure that is required under accounting standard 15, the disclosure that is there required under accounting standard 15, you have to give what plan assets, plan liabilities, etc. You don't give here. I mean, maybe when I was seeing Infosys financial statement, they are giving the accounting policy and the required disclosure below. Every item, the disclosure of that particular thing they are completing. That is one way of giving it. But my style of giving it is give all the accounting policies one, and then the other disclosures required by the standards separately. And that is another way of giving it up. So defined benefit plan, borrowing cost, leases. I mean, these are all standard templates. Earning per share. You look at this, how do I arrive at the earning per share? This cannot be different between any one company and another company. This has to be given by every company in the same manner. Basic earning per share is computed by dividing the net profit after tax by the weighted average number of equity shares outstanding during the year. This is a statement. And diluted earning per share is calculated on the same basis as basic after adjusting for the effects of all dilutive potential equity shares. Now, that which is in blue, I told you, you should not give it for an SMC. In an SMC, this is not required to be given. While if you want to give, you give, and if you are giving, you have to give this. But I don't give it in a SMC, so you don't have to give that blue version. Now, how you have, what is your numerator? What is your denominator? Has to be coming as a separate disclosure. Has to be coming as a separate disclosure later on. So first we finish off the accounting policy and then we go to the other disclosures. So income taxes. So I'm not going to read each one of them, paucity of time. I am leaving this presentation, provisions and contingent insurance, goods and service tax, input to credit. Now we are going to other explanatory notes. In the other explanatory notes, if you are an SMC, there is a requirement in the company's accounting standard rules itself to say that you should tell everybody that you are an SMC and you have opted not to give certain disclosure. So you are making the statement. The company is an SMC as defined in the general instructions of accounting standard 133, read with rule 7. Accordingly, the company has complied with the accounting standards applicable to an SMC. So this is a statement which has to be told very first in the other explanatory memorandum. In case of manufacturing companies, trading companies, schedule 3 wants you to give additional disclosures which you have to give. Expenditure incurred in foreign currency, expenditure earnings in foreign currency, disclosure of share application money pending allotment, secured loans. These are all the disclosures coming out of schedule 3 requirements. Schedule 3 requirements, employee benefits. And look at this. There is one comparative, when we say comparative information has to be given, for how many years we have to give comparative information? Previous year only, right? According to accounting standard 15, para 112N, okay? Because it has become so important, and whenever we in FRRB we sit down, first thing we see is 112N, whether they are followed. That means current year plus 4 years comparative. Most of the companies will make a mistake on this count. They have to give current year and previous 4 years comparative on the various items on gratuity, on plan assets and plan obligations. So they have to give for 4 years. That's the point which we wanted to highlight. Leave encashment, history of assets value, defined benefit obligation again for 4 years, current year and 4 years. Borrowing costs, details of borrowing costs capitalized during the year. If it has been capitalized, you have to give this, otherwise it is not required. Segment reporting not required for an SMC. It is not required for an SMC, but if it is other than SMC, you have to give the segment wise reporting. Related party transactions, where control exists, you have to give, even if there are no transactions, you have to give the name of the related parties and the relationship. Where control does not exist, where significant influence exists, then you will have to give only those transactions which have been entered into. So please look into these transactions. Obligations towards the operating leases, basic and diluted earning per share, what is the numerator, denominator, deferred taxes, CSR, provisions, a detailed disclosure on provisions. This is what I showed in the beginning. For an SMC, this detailed disclosure is not required. Okay, that is the exception given. You have to make a provision, create a provision in your balance sheet. A detailed disclosure is not required. Proposed dividend earlier had to be brought in as a liability in the balance sheet, whereas now it has to be only a matter of disclosure and not a matter of creating provision. Capital commitments, dues to micro and small enterprises, very important. Can we make the statement as at so and so date? Disclosures, the company has not received information from vendors. The company has not received information from vendors under the MSME, and therefore related disclosures are not given. We should avoid this statement. The company should make an attempt to get it. And if it is, let us say, whenever I am entering into a relationship with a new vendor, I'll ask him whether he is a MSME. In fact, it is not MSME, it is MSE. Micro and small enterprises only. Medium enterprises are not getting any benefit under this scheme. Although this standard talks about 3 types. Okay. So the company has no dues to micro and small enterprises. So please put in efforts and get in this particular statement. Or you will have to say what are all the dues and give the required thing. So following class of property plans were revalued during the year. Okay, paisas have been rounded off to the nearest rupee. Very interestingly, if you are using Ind AS, rounding off to the nearest 100 lakh and thousands is not an option, it is a compulsion. Every Ind AS financial statement cannot be in rupees. If the moment you look at an Ind AS balance sheet, if it is in Indian rupees, that is the first mistake. It has to be in thousands or lakhs, and the rounding off, they have given a particular criteria. There are 2 criteria. Depending on your turnover, the rounding off levels get determined. So you will have to round it off. So in the normal accounting standards, rounding off is an option given. Okay. Whereas what we do in our offices, paisas have been rounded off because the same financial statement we can give it to the income tax department also. So previous year figures have been regrouped or reclassified wherever necessary. And in our office, we put one more thing. I don't know whether it has come here. Yeah, I think yeah. Paisas have been rounded off to the nearest rupee. And due to this rounding off, the numbers presented throughout the document may not add up precisely to the totals, and percentage may not precisely reflect the absolute figures. Now, what does that mean? Suppose there is a 101 rupee and 50 paise and another 101 rupee and 50. To make it simple, let me say 1 rupee 50 paise and 1 rupee 50 paise. So 1 rupee 50 paise, in the apparently, when it is rounded off, it becomes 2 rupees. And the next 1 rupee 50 also becomes 2 rupees. But if you totally take a calculator and total 2 plus 2 is equal to, it will come as 3 there. And that is what we wanted to convey by giving a statement like this. So previous year figures have been regrouped or reclassified wherever necessary to correspond with the corresponding year's disclosure. So this is another thing that has to be told. Okay. So disclosure. So these are all the templates which I wanted to share. Of course, there are a lot of things to be discussed. for a 2-hour session, whatever is required, we have completed. I think if there are any questions, I will take the questions. Otherwise, I will hand over the session to the management. Yeah. 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 Is it possible in the same audit report for a qualification and a disclaimer to come? No, just now I showed you one particular audit report where he has disclaimed the total profit and loss, financial statements. And then he has given a qualification saying that subject to it is true and fair. That sort of a disclaimer and qualification cannot come. What can come is you can disclaim on one element of the financial statement. One element of the financial statement you may disclaim, and then say subject to that above, it is true and fair. But the entire financial statements you have disclaimed. We are unable to say whether it is true and fair is what you have disclaimed. Then you are giving, that is not right. Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions? So now, if there are no more questions, I can only thank the organizers. And since you are not there at the beginning, let me use this opportunity to congratulate Bhojaraj Shetty. When I was telling him that Ravindra Kore came down from Karnataka State Chartered Accountants as a president to the Bangalore branch as the chairman, whereas Bhojaraj Shetty has come from the international, he was there in Dubai, and so you can give an international perspective to the branch, and your voice is very sweet and very pleasing to hear to you. So with that, I think a lot of good things can happen in the branch. Wishing you all the best and the team all the best for the year. I'm sure you will continue with the legacy of getting the same shield next year. And I particularly liked a couple of things when I heard you. One statement which I really liked was, I don't know whether you noticed that, we are here as a team united to excel. United to excel. So that's a beautiful, so that's for all the team members. In fact, last year I was seeing Hyderabad branch. Whenever I was called by Hyderabad branch to address, the chairman's name was never there in the invite. Not that it should not be there in all the cases. This used to be even for Madhukar Hiregange. He used to have that particular thing. Put the team before the person. When it's a teamwork, and therefore it has to go like that. So I particularly like that we are united. If you are united, excellence is definite. So be united to excel. And I also like the new hashtag or your logo for the year, Gnana Arjane. Gnana Visarjane, Gnana Arjane. So, I always say this, with the faceless assessments and appeals coming into picture, what earlier we used to boast, knowing the officer was more important than knowing the law. Now, knowing the subject is more important than knowing the officer. Complying with the law is more important than knowing the law. I think we should definitely go in that particular direction. And as an institute, you have this dual advantage, dual responsibility of reducing the expectation gap as well as the delivery gap. I think that is what we need to do. The expectation gap has to be reduced by whatever you said, going through the radio, television mode, and bringing the regulators and making what is the role of a chartered accountant is what we have to say. And by that is reducing the expectation gap and reducing the delivery gap. We as members have a bigger responsibility than you, but of course bring in good speakers and have as many programs so that the laws are ever changing. So we have to keep abreast of the law. It is more the responsibility of the members. So we should take up the joint responsibility of, when we say united to excel, it does not mean only the 7 or 8 members team are united to excel. By their joining together, the excellence can come up to a level. If all how many members? 16,000 members in Bangalore? 13,500 members in Bangalore branch, or for that matter, even in India, about 3.5, 3 lakh, 3+ lakh members. If all of us unite together, ಜ್ಞಾನ ಅರ್ಜನೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸೆಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿಟ್ಟ ಬುತ್ತಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ದಿವ್ಯಾ, ಓವರ್ ಟು ಯು.
So very good evening, members. On behalf of Bangalore branch of SIRC of ICA, I take this opportunity to propose formal vote of thanks for today's seminar on accounting standards and standard on audits and ICDS. A very special thanks to CA Gururaj Acharya sir for giving a wonderful presentation. It's always a privilege to have you at Bangalore branch, sir. Whenever we need you, you are there for us. Thank you once again, sir. Huge round of applause, members. Before concluding, members, I would like to inform you about tomorrow's program. We have detailed discussion on Union Budget 2021 on indirect taxes, that is GST and customs, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'll have with us Srimati R. Bhagya Devi, IRS Principal Commissioner, Customs and Central GST. We'll also have with us Dr. B.V. Murali Krishna, Additional Commissioner of State Taxes, and CATR Rajesh Kumar. I request all of you to kindly participate and enrich your knowledge. Sunday, we have Sikasa Students Talent Search. All students kindly take part in it. So before closing, we shall all raise for National Anthem and then we'll sign off.
गण मन अधिनायक जय हे, भारत भाग्य विधाता।
Starting a practice of one.
गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा, उच्छल जलधि तरंगा। तब शुभ नामे गाहे, तब शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तब जय गाथा। जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे, भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे, जय हे, जय हे, जय जय